Hey, how's everybody doing today? By the way, I am super excited because uh, we're gonna be talking about one of the most important things when it comes to board review. Now, I'm gonna be giving away three people. I'm gonna be getting three free gifts on this webinar today. All right, three. So uh, let's make sure we're connected live on YouTube. Perfect. All right, let's bring this out. And got a bunch of windows here, so because we got a lot of stuff to cover. How many of you are familiar with SmashUSMLE? Did you guys see, just put it in the chat, like if you've heard about SmashUSMLE reviews or seen some of my videos before. I just want to see yes in the chat, and I want to kind of see where you guys are from, like which medical school did you graduate from, and also what exam you guys are studying for. If you're studying for step 1 or step 2 CK or step 3, just put it in. Alaric, welcome. This is the first time here. Welcome. Robert, step 1, awesome. Anyone else? I see Alvaro here. I see Bavin, Blair, Cyrus, Faber. So Angela is studying for step 1. Farber is studying for step 1. Awesome. Robert went to IUHS School of Medicine. Bavin got through an email. Shavika, this is your first time studying. Like I'm studying for step 1. Awesome. All right. Farber is from West Africa. Welcome. Which part of West Africa? Bavin is from London. I've not been to London yet. I plan to be there eventually when COVID is over. I'm trying to see here. We can go live on Instagram. So let's see. And Senegal. So Shivika is from Canada. OMG. Wow. I am so excited to have you guys here today. Let me see who we have. Gustavo, Gonora, welcome to the event today. On YouTube, we've got a lot of people already connecting on YouTube. We got Nolisa, Gabby, Mo. So Mo is from Sudan. Welcome to the webinar. This is going to be awesome. You guys are going to learn so much today. Wow. So here's how the webinar is going to start. I'm going to give you guys some background information about SmashUSMLE reviews, who I am, and what we do for you guys. And also, we're going to talk about the right approach to studying for step 1, okay? Which I'm going to give some tips, and then we're going to solve some questions. So I want you guys to get involved because I'm giving away three bonuses, 3 free bonuses. We have never done this before in any of our webinars. So, make sure you stick around so you can get, if you're actually one of the people who win the bonuses, you're going to get it in your email. It's really, trust me, you will want to stay for the whole session. I already graduated from med school more than 20 years ago. I've been anatomy specialty faculty, want to get back to medicine rather than work on these corrupt medical schools. All right, Alaric, don't worry. We are going to show you the right way on how to study. If you guys are live on YouTube, Nolisa is from the Caribbean, make sure you post your questions online if you're on YouTube so that we can see all your questions. I'm going to be going back and forth with my camera. I got multiple cameras. I got one here, I got one over here. So we're going to be going back and forth. The more involved you are, the more you are going to learn in this session, because I am going to blow your mind on how you can get that to 60. How many of you know about the changes that's coming up in 2022? That step 1 is going pass fail, right? How many of you say yes in the chat, right? That step 1 is going pass fail next in 2022, which is basically, we got 2021 and the beginning of 2022, right? Now, how many of you are taking step 1 next year? Because 2020 is over, right? Except you're taking step 1 next month. How many of you are taking step 1 or step 2 CK next year? Just put, so Bavin said you'd be taking it 2022. I kind of want to have an idea, people who are going to be taking it soon, maybe later. So, we can make sure that, Faber is like, not sure. Anyone else? Anyone else taking step 1 or step 2 CK or step 3 this year or 2022? Okay. All right. Okay, good question. How many of you for step 1 are using first aid right now? How many of you are using step 1 using first aid? This is my first aid. Let me grab my first aid here. Oh, this is what I'm using. Step 1, right? First aid, right? Everybody has this book. Perfect. How many of you are studying for step 2 CK and you are using this book? Master the boards. Okay, somebody say, I'm familiar with lecture, which is helpful for the study. Okay. How many of you are using Master the Boards or First Aid Step 2 CK for studying for your Step 2 CK? Okay. Somebody say, I use it for revising, but don't find it terribly useful. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So any questions you guys have when it comes to board review, I want you guys to, somebody say, I've never studied Master the Boards. I want you guys to post it in the chat for me. Okay, because there's some of the secrets I'm going to be giving away to you guys today. You know, how many of you are frustrated with studying for this board exam? Let's be honest. How many of you just like this exam is sucking the life out of you, you know, and you feel like, man, I'm not getting anywhere. Like, I feel like I'm studying over and over and I just don't know what I'm doing. Be honest. Listen, we're here to help you. Okay, somebody said, I just don't know even where to start. Okay, that's Robert. Michael said me, like, you just feel like this exam has been the bane of your existence. Like, you know, you have no way of like, you feel like you can't remember information. Okay. I don't know how deep I get into the subjects. Okay. Faber says, okay, good. Because I want us to be honest. Let's have honest conversations. We are all doctors here. It's too much to retain. It's a lot of information. I totally agree with you, right? All right. How many of you have studied for this exam for a little bit and quit? Like you study halfway and you literally just said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Or like you feel like you're studying, you're putting in the work, but then you're like, man, I'm not consistent. Be honest. Just, you know, like you've put in the work, you feel like, you know what, something doesn't. How many of you are spending time on forums still looking for the correct answers on how to study for step 1 or step 2 CK? Like you're going to Reddit. You know, I go on there every day, not every day, but every time I'm bored, I go on Reddit or go on these forums and you're looking for that magic bullet. You're like, what am I going to need to do to be able to crush step 1 or step 2 CK, right? Here's the worst part of the story. How many of you have friends that have taken this exam and failed, and then they call you and say, hey, listen, man, this exam is the hardest exam of my life. I hate it, right? And they've discouraged you from taking the test. Just say yes in the chat. Let's just be honest. Most people that you surround yourself with are basically telling you that this exam is impossible. It is so hard. It's almost impossible for you to get through this test, right? You know, so Bob said, how my friends really did well, but they studied so hard. Okay, good. I just want to get a feel for everyone in the audience. So, you know, I want to, you know, see how, you know, for you guys, the way you guys are studying. Okay. Let me connect to our live Instagram page because we have some of our students here. Let's see. All right. I'm always trying to figure this Instagram thing out, you know. All right. Because I'm going to be sharing some amazing secrets with you guys today. Just give me just 1 second. I got to connect to this thing. So we can connect to okay, I'll wait for them to go live. All right. So you guys know the number one reason why people are distracted today? Does anyone know the reason why it's getting harder and harder for people to stay focused on this massive amount of information? Anyone? Social media. Social media. Thank you, Michael. Okay? Because, you know, think about it, guys. Before we even begin, the number one reason why medical students college students are struggling to study for the USMLE today has been the biggest distractor of all time: social media. Now, I'm not an anti-social media guy. I use social media. Okay. I use Facebook. I use, Instagram, right? Some of you are maybe on Twitter, maybe on Reddit, right? But I don't know if you guys know there's a new disease that nobody's talking about today. It's called the social media addiction. All right. Social media addiction is like the Pavlov experiment, right? You guys remember Pavlov's experiment in psychology, right? So the Pavlov experiment, if you guys don't know, is basically they wanted to see, they did a simple experiment where, they took a dog and we rang a bell, and every time we rang the bell, we give the dog some food, right? Of course, at first the dog was a little suspicious, and then later, every time you ring the bell, even before, the dog always gets the food every time you ring the bell. But after a while, they took the food away and they just rang the bell, and they kind of map out the neuronal pathway inside the brain to see how the dog is responding. And just from the sound of the dog connected that a bell sound means food. So automatically the dog started to like salivate in anticipation of the food that it was supposed to get. So now today, social media is the same thing. The addiction pathway that most people have, whether it's to food, heroin, drugs, morphine, any kind of addiction you guys can think of, uses the same pathway in the brain, right? You got the nucleus accumbens, right? Where you have dopamine that goes into it to feed into the cycle, and people go through the same thing, right? It's the dopamine rush that people get that allows them to keep going back because they get a reward for what the action they do. So social media gurus, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these platforms, they have psychologically hacked the human brain. They have literally figured out that they need to keep you on the network, on the platform constantly, 24/7, 7 days a week, because as long as you keep coming back to that app, keep coming back, right? And you can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. What ends up happening is that because you get to laugh, you're being fed content over and over and over, and it's endless, right? The amount of content that's pushed on social media in 1 hour, you as a human being cannot consume it, even if that's all you do for the rest of your life, in 1 hour from everybody in the world. So now today, it's getting harder for people to focus. It gets worse if you have ADHD. Because you have ADHD and you plug that in with addiction to social media, you are going to struggle. So I'm going to give you a couple of things you need to do today before you even start studying for the USMLE. Step one is make sure that you control your time. Okay. I don't know why we're having trouble with this Instagram page. We're not able to connect. I'm going to try it again. All right. So how do you control your ability to not get sucked into it? The first thing is to identify that you have a problem. If you find yourself on social media more than 3 hours, 2 hours plus a day, and you're supposed to be studying for boards, you're on the hook. You have a social media addiction. Because if you don't recognize that, you are going to keep going through the rat race. Okay. You're going to keep going through the hamster wheel, and you are not going to be able to get out of it. Does that make sense? So I always tell students when they come to my program, I say, listen, your mission is to try to, use social media only to your own advantage and use it as a reward for the work that you've done. For example, let's say you had to study 1 hour, right? And you wanted to take a 10-minute break and you go on social media and you time yourself and you say, you know what, after the next 10 minutes, I'm going to get off social media, right? That's it. Or you study 4 hours and 5 hours and you say, I'm going to spend 1 or 2 hours on social media. Then you can do that. Does that make sense, guys? That is how you take advantage of social media. Okay. Because or else it will consume your life. I guarantee you, I promise you, you will not be productive for nothing. So that's rule number one. Rule number two, the United States medical licensing exam is a mindset exam. you know, 99% of students in SmashUSMLE reviews, they are actually immigrants. And I'll tell you one of the problem being an immigrant. When you're an immigrant, you did not grow up in America, right? Or maybe you did, right? And for the most part, the challenge that international medical graduates have or Caribbean medical students is that when you go off to the island and to go and study in the island, you are now detached from the American system. See, I had a chance to go to school in America. I had a chance to take my USMLEs and my complex exam, and most of the medical schools train you on how to study for boards because their goal is to make sure that you guys we get into residency. So the challenge that international medical graduates have is that because you didn't go to school here, you never had a chance to really go through the system so they can teach you how to study the right way. So that's number two. How many of you go on social media, which we all do, and somebody posts that I studied for step 1 in 2 months or 6 weeks, and I use UWorld, first aid and pathoma, and I got a 262 or 245 or 271. How many? Say yes in the chat you've seen those posts that of people bragging about the NBME score. They score NBME, they score 271, 263, right? Or something like that, you know, and it looks like within 8 weeks, they put in all this work and magically they're scoring and they'll post their score report, right? On social media. And then they intimidate you with their score report, making it look like, oh, I'm just trying to show you how to study, right? It's UFAP suddenly happened to be the magic bullet, right? Right? UWorld first aid pathoma, right? That's all you need to do. Once you get that done, you're gonna get a 260, right? The problem, right? Something doesn't make any sense, right? Let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth today. Medical students in the United States, the first 2 years of med school, this is what happens. You go to class every day, right? You're doing pathology, biochem, endocrine, embryology. You go through all this exam. They're taking the exam. They're in the exam mode constantly. And they finish that first year. And then the beginning of the second year, depending if it's organ system based or they're doing cardio, whatever it is, then the school starts to train you more and more on content that's on boards. Now, here's a student, you know, and when I was, for example, when I was in second year, like we were doing blocks. Some school do blocks, school does integrated, where everything is all integrated. And I remember when I was doing cardio back then, that was almost 12 years ago, 12 plus years ago. I will be going to class, studying my cardio notes, and then in the evening, I'll do some UWorld questions, 10 questions a day. And at the end, like I'll do probably like 200 questions at the end of the month. That's kind of how I was studying when I was in second year. And I'll do that consistently. And by the time it was actually like January, I think I've gone through maybe like 600 or 700 questions in UWorld. And then when it was by, January, I upped my game to like 20 questions a day while I'm studying for class, because I was able to juggle both. And by the time it was actually, I think April, I've gone through like 1,800 questions or something like crazy like that. And I was already in the board mode. So a lot of the students that post this kind of content on social media that tell you they studied in 6 weeks, they're not lying that they studied in 6 weeks. It's true. They get 6 weeks off or 8 weeks. So for US medical students, we get a block of between April, May, and June. So you get about 2 months off where you're supposed to be a dedicated study period. But majority of US students are already studying what we call the pre-IMP period. They're already studying at the beginning, right? And then when it gets to April, they go to full gear. But remember, they just finished PATH. They just finished HEMONC. They just literally finished HEMONC exam. And so they still have fresh knowledge in their brain. So when they go to a dedicated period, all they do is they just condense in all the information they need to know, get through a QBank, review it, and boom, they can take the exam. You see the difference? They go from what we call the pre-intensive master period to the intensive master period. Now, as an IMG, the challenge is this. Let me show you the mistakes IMG make, right? I'm going to share my screen here. So if you're an IMG and you don't know the game, right, your study session is broken down into two. There's the pre-IMP, okay, the pre-IMP period, and then the IMP, which is the intensive master period. And this pre-IMP is different for everybody, okay? It is literally different for everybody. So Let's see here. I think they're sending me a message and I'm not getting it. So for most students, right? For IMGs, when they come, when you're trying to study, your IMP period could be between 6 to 12 months. Okay? Literally, your IMP period could be, literally 6 to 12 months. And the only way you're going to figure that out, number one, is you have to take an NBME. Now, the NBME basically is the gold standard exam. If you go to nbme.org, right? Give me 1 second. I think we're trying to connect to, a live session here on Instagram, but we're having some technological issues. Okay, I think we should be good now. All right. So when you take an NBME, right? All right, for some of you guys who are joining us live on Instagram, this is Dr. Adesina with SmashUSMLE Reviews. We're just talking about the intensive master period. So when you take an NBME, let's say your NBME score was 150, okay? You know what that means? That means the passing score in the USMLE is 198, okay? I believe it's 198 or 194, okay? 194, okay? So you are not hitting the passing score yet. You literally still have 40 points before you get to the passing score. So what you need to do is, all right, you need to start all over again. You need to start in your pre-intensive master period. And what we do for you at SmashUSMLE is determine how we create your schedule for you, literally from the beginning. Because your NBME score is still so low that we know that it's going to take time. And we always say, let's say what's your target. Let's say your target happened to be, let's say 250, okay? Let's pick 250 as your target score, okay? Now, if you're 150, you need 100 points. That's a lot of work for you to do to get that 100 points, guys. A lot of freaking work, okay? That is just the truth. So here's what we do with you. We have you spend probably 6 months, depending, if you're less than 150, it's probably going to take you 6 months. Now, there's also a lot of factors. Some people are working full-time, part-time, right? They have family, they have kids. And when they're studying for the USMLE, what we tell them in our program is, listen, if somebody is single and they have 12 hours a day to study, they have plenty of time to study for the USMLE. Compared to you, who is working part-time, you may have only 5 to 6 hours to study a day. You guys see the difference? So that is why SmashUSMLE is a personalized study program that we don't use an umbrella blanket to be able to help you study. What we give Joe is going to be different from what Sally is going to get when they come to SmashUSMLE. Okay? So now let's take Joe. Joe's, maybe he's a Caribbean medical student, right? He has 12 hours to study a day. Maybe in his case, he only needs 4 months to get through his pre-intensive master period, okay? Or what we call pre-dedicated study period, all right? So what happens is, here's what we have you do. You take the NBME score, right? And then we start working on your weak areas. Here's the third mistake IMGs make. A lot of IMGs, when they start to study for step 1 or step 2 CK, they're going by their feelings. How do you determine what is the first subject to study for the boards, right? The only way you're going to figure that out is by doing this NBME. And when you get your score report, let me pull up an NBME score report to give you guys just what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go through one. Okay. Let me pull up a sample NBME score report here. Perfect. We've got one. Okay. I'm going to drag it over here. Perfect. Now, so those who are on Instagram, you're not going to be able to see this. We're also live on YouTube. Or if you click the link in the Zoom link, you guys can get access to this. Okay, so you may not be able to see my screen, but so I wanted to show you guys what I'm talking about. You guys all see my screen? Perfect. So look here. This is what your NBME score report will look like. All right. When you take that NBME, don't be afraid of taking the NBME. And do me a favor. Don't do an offline NBME, please. Nothing drives me more crazier than international medical graduate, Caribbean medical students going on Facebook and YouTube or whatever, looking for free NBMEs. It doesn't do you any good. This is an assessment test that we use to determine your strength and your weaknesses, because the third reason why your students score low on this USMLE is because they're going by their feelings. You can't go by your feelings, guys. This is not a feeling. You can't say, you know, people will be like, I like cardio. So they're going to start studying cardio first. Why were you going to study your strengths first instead of working on your weaknesses? Look here. Let me show you. Let me show you guys. I'm going to try to see for you guys on Instagram. Maybe I can put this on the screen so you guys can also see a little bit. Okay. So maybe no, that's not too bad. All right. So if you guys on Instagram, you guys can see that. All right. Check this out. Check this out. This is your score report. This is what you're going to get when you take the NBME, guys. Okay. And let me show you what has happened over the last 20 years. Look at the distribution of the NBME score report. You guys see this? This right now, how we stand in 2020, the average for step 1 is 231. The average for step 2 CK is 240. Okay. So check this out. The passing score right here. Okay. The passing score that you need is 194. So when you take your NBME, what we determine is, where do you fall on this graph? I want to know. I tell students all the time, they call me Dr. Adesina, like, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to take the NBME because I think I'm going to get low on it. Or they tell me I've been studying for the last 6 months and I don't know if I'm ready for the test. I'm like, the only way you're going to know whether you're ready for the test. And for some of you don't know, you just go on the NBME.org website. I'll show you guys the website. It's really easy, right? You buy, it's only $60. You do the standard pace format. It's going to take you 4 hours to complete. Once you complete these, it's going to give you the score report. This is what you send me. This is what our team works with. We go by objective data. We do not go by feelings. We don't go by subjective data, right? I know your passing score is 194, but as an IMG, you do not want to score 194. Program directors are looking for anything above 220. That's a good score. But ideally, they want you to score in the 240 range, because I'll be honest with you guys, the higher your score in the USMLE, this is the challenge for international medical graduates, guys. If I have 2 students applying to residency, and they both have 231 on the USMLE. One is a US grad and one is an IMG. Guess what? They will always pick that US grad over that IMG. Especially, let's say the IMG needs a visa, right? So I always tell my students, like, in order to give yourself the maximum chance of success and matching into residency, you want to be right here. You want to be above the average, because that is what's going to get you interviews. In SmashUSMLE, we have our tutors. Our tutors, a couple of our tutors are pretty much got 260s on the USMLE. As an IMG from India, he has currently 10 interviews lined up as we speak, and there's more interviews coming. And he's an international medical graduate. He has over 10 interviews. Another one has 8. So when I tell students that it's easy to match into residency, if you do the right things to get a high score, you are going to match. Now, even if you failed the USMLE before, it doesn't matter, right? It's going to be harder, but it's still possible, because last year, the last match, 61% of IMGs matched. 61%. So none of you have any excuse to tell me why you don't want to be part of the 61%, which means 6 out of 10 people that applied to residency last year, they match into residency. So stop listening to the naysayers. Stop listening to people who are telling you it's impossible. Honestly, if you just do the right things, get a high USMLE score, do clinical rotations, observerships, maybe, and some research if you can, right? And you get into residency. It's that, and have a great personal statement. And when you show up on an interview, you be eloquent, you can speak very well, you can answer questions, you can explain the reason why they should take you to a residency. You do all those 4 things, you're gonna match. That's the simple formula. But is it hard? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Yes. Yes. So many of our students have already come through SmashUSMLE and matched every year. I had this girl that reached out to me. She got a 265. She's been watching my videos since she was in med school. She got 265 on step 1. Amazing, right? But let me show you. Look, when you take this NBME score report, right? This student right now scored 198. So if he wants to score a 250, guess what we have to do? We've got to work on getting him 52 points. So what do? Let me show you the magic. It's very, very simple, okay? This is what we do for you when you come to SmashUSMLE reviews. No program in the country does this, okay? You're gonna get this score report, and a lot of students struggle to understand this score report, okay? Because this score report, you know, can be a little challenging, but we already know how to analyze the data for you, and we're going to explain to you. But I'm just going to simplify, just give you a simple example here during this webinar. So when this student, if this student were meeting with me or one of my tutors in SmashUSMLE, here's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at this and say, all right, right now, your performance, and if you guys don't know what this means, you see like there's this area here where it says low, same, and high, right? And then we have low, same, and high. There's the orange one. The orange one is your overall performance, right? So if you score a low performance, right, in any of this section right here, it's comparing your performance to how your overall performance in the exam, which means if you look here, let's say this is about, 10% of behavioral science questions is actually on this exam, like in this CBA, on this NBME, right? And his performance in the behavioral section is comparable to his overall performance in all the other sections of the exam. Okay, that's what this means. Now, the second one is to compare you to the rest of everyone in the world that's taking the USMLE and the NBME. This NBME particularly. But look at this student. Although his performance is the same in behavioral science, it's the same in repro, right? And you might say, Dr. Adesina, so how do I know what I'm supposed to work on? If this is just saying I perform the same, I'm kind of pretty much average. No, we don't look at that anymore. We look at this data point. Look, your performance compared to everyone that took the USMLE, this NBME is low. Look, behavioral science is low. So your nervous systems, your ear, nose, and throat system, behavioral science is very low. The same thing in reproductive. Look, your low performance. Same thing in blood, right? Right here. So for these students, you know what we tell them? We say, listen, we are going to rearrange your schedule, and we are going to start with maybe GI, cardio, hematology, respiratory, and reproductive. Does that make sense, guys? You see the difference? Now what we want to do is work on your low performing areas. It's like a tree. I always tell students when they come to SmashUSMLE reviews. You see, when you come to my program, this is your knowledge tree. I call it the knowledge tree, okay? And your knowledge tree has these nice blossom fruits at the bottom of it, okay? We call them low-hanging fruits, okay? Which one is easier to get? The fruits that are at the top of the tree or the fruit that are at the bottom? Of course, the bottom ones. These are your low-hanging fruit. These are your weak areas. The problem with most IMGs is they're like, I like anatomy. They're gonna start studying anatomy for step 1 or step 2, or I like internal medicine first. So I don't like OBGYN. I don't like pediatrics. I don't like general surgery. I don't care if you don't like it. The only way your score is gonna go up, the only way you are going to improve and move this orange bar, right? This is your score report to this section is by working on your weak sections. So stop wasting your time doing the easier subjects. Is it going to take time? Yes. But is your score going to improve? Absolutely. You guys see the difference? That is how we work with you. So this student right now, we're going to give him a schedule. And then after like a month, when he has completed maybe 2 blocks, let's say he's on a 6-month schedule, then we're going to upgrade him and say, hey, listen, if your score is going up because we've taught you behavioral science, we have video lectures, flashcards, we have a master class, we teach you all this content, and then your score goes up. Okay. Now we're going to keep repeating this exercise until you get a 250 or you're satisfied with the score you have. Now, another mistake that IMGs make is you get frustrated and you go take this exam when you're not ready. And this exam will tear you down if you're not mentally ready for it. It's a mindset game, okay? If you actually do it the right way, it's actually easy. It gets easier. If you're doing it the wrong way, you burn out. And you know how many students, I had a girl call me the other day. She said, Dr. Adesina, I've been studying for like a year and I'm tired. I said, you're tired? I'm like, and then she joined our program and I said, what was your last NBME score? She said, I got a 175. I said, you're not taking the test. She said, what are you talking about? I'm tired. I said, I know you're tired, but I know you're not ready to take this test. When she sent me a score report and I saw it, I said, you are not ready because the NBME does not lie. This is like getting on a weight. If you're overweight, it's going to tell you. If you're underweight, it's going to tell you. So if you ignore the data, do you guys know why the NBME created this? It's because they're trying to help you. They put students, guys, the reason the NBME puts out the NBME scores and to give you all this data is to help you make good decisions. The problem is medical graduates, IMGs, US students, they ignore the real numbers. They're going by feelings. They're going by what somebody else told them, right? If your NBME score is telling you you are still below this orange line, this black line, you're ready. If you're below average and you're okay with that score, then you can go ahead and take it, but don't expect a 240 on the actual exam, right? One of our students just a few weeks ago scored a 235, but her average was in the 230s the whole time, right? 220, 240, 230s, 220 something, 228, right? And end up scoring a 235. But she was super happy with her score because I knew she was ready to take the test. So don't make that mistake. If you are scoring low in the NBME, you don't take that exam because you get me. Let me tell you what, I can predict your future for you. I'm not a magician. I just been doing this for 10 years. Because I counsel students all the time. And I tell them, listen, guys, do me a favor. If you take this exam, guess what's going to happen if you fail? Now you got to fail on your record, number one. Number two, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be depressed. You're going to hate your life. And number three, you have to do this all over again. So do me a favor, do this the right way once. That's why we have a 97% pass rate here at SmashUSMLE Reviews. 97%. Do you know how that happened? Because all our students get a personal coach, a personal tutor, and at the end of the day, before they even try to take the exam, we sit down with you right on Zoom calls like this, on a phone call, or even like on Skype, and we make sure that you're ready. Most programs out there don't care. And for Caribbean medical students, I feel bad for them. Because once you pass the NBME at the Caribbean medical schools, they just push you like, go take the USMLE. But if your knowledge is still low, or maybe you stop studying, then you fail. Is this making sense, guys? If this was helpful, I want to see yes in the chat, guys. If this was helpful for you guys, I want to see some yes in the chat. Okay? If what I just gave you, just open your eyes to see exactly why the USMLE is designed to help you to pass. Does not pass, but understanding the mindset. I'm going to give you another advice, guys. The next advice is you have to believe you can do this test. Listen, this exam is designed to make you a good doctor. And let me give you some background history why we created the USMLE in the first place. The USMLE was designed back in like almost 40 years or 35 years ago to help determine clinical competency of an average physician to pass and practice medicine. But let me tell you what happened over the last 25 years. This graph is what tells you the story, if you guys don't know. You see, a long time ago, the NBME body, their job was just to make sure you're going to be a good doctor. You know just enough basic medical knowledge so you can practice good medicine. That's it. And there was no problems. Immigrants came to America, they took the exam. There was enough residency spots for everybody, whether you want to do general surgery, orthopedics, ENT, it doesn't matter. Like life was good. But then something changed. Step one mania started. But step one mania started because this is the problem in healthcare in America today. Okay, let me share my screen and show you. Today, we have less residency program and more applicants. Okay, last year, 40,000 people applied to residency. You know the problem? The amount of residency, new residents that have been created over the last 10 years has been very, very little. So now it's all about demand versus supply. Now, if you're increasing the number of applicants and you are losing or decreasing the number of spots available, that creates what we call a funnel effect, right? A funnel effect, which means it gets harder and harder to squeeze through this funnel because there's just not enough space for everybody. Medicare is basically the government organization responsible for sponsoring your residency program. They're the one that pay, and they pay between $100,000 to almost $180,000 per resident. Obviously, you're only gonna get 40 to maybe 60,000 of that money. The rest of the money goes into the pocket of the hospitals. That's what they don't tell you. The hospital administration said, I'm going to open my doors for this medical students to come and train on my patients. You, the government, are going to give me money. Give me $150,000 per student. That's going to come in. I'll pay them $50,000 a year. I'll pocket $100,000 profit. They'll work as slaves, as manual labor, work 100 hours a week, right? That's why they call it a resident, because you live in the hospital. And then I will make millions and millions and millions of dollars while they're seeing all my patients for free for slave labor for the next 3 to 7 years. This is the system, guys, if they don't tell you the truth, right? But what you get in return is to play doctor on people as guinea pigs, because you don't know what you're doing, and we just got to train you so you can become a doctor. This is how residency was born. So here's the problem. There's less residents. There's too many applicants. Now, the program directors, they're lazy. It's not like they're actually lazy. They're very hardworking people. But what I mean by they're lazy is that they don't have the time to sort through 3,000 applications. That's just the truth. And they realize it's so much easier if I just come up with a number. So let's say I'm the department chair of pediatrics. And I'm like, guys, for all the US medical students applying this year and the DO students, our pass, the minimum score that you have to get is maybe like 203. Let's say that's the number they all agree in the department. For all international medical students, 213. Okay. If you meet this cutoff, put the applicants pile into one side. Everybody else, throw them in the trash can. I'm just telling you, that's the truth. So over time, medical students start to realize the game. It's a numbers game, right? If I score higher, I'm going to be in the pool of applicants to get interviewed. That is why the average, when I took the USMLE in 2010, geez, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, the passing score was 180, I think it's 88. I think it's 186, something around that. And in 10 years, the passing score has jumped to 194. You see that, guys? But the average, when I took step one, the average step one score was, I believe, 220 or around like 218, something like that. And in 10 years, look at what has happened. Are you guys following this? This is truth. I'm just giving you the honest truth, guys. Right? So in 10 years, the average score has jumped almost what? Like 20, almost maybe 13 points, right? 13 points, which means if the average today is 231, 10 years from now, the average is going to end up at about around like 245. This is the reason why the FSBE and the NBME and, the medical students start to like, complain like, this is ridiculous, guys. We need to change step one to pass fail. Because medical students are having anxiety, panic attack, because they don't even want to learn medicine anymore. All they care about is just memorizing for step one. And guess what has happened to IMGs? It's forcing you guys to have to get a higher and a much higher score and making it more and more competitive. So you need to know the game you're playing before you get started. Because if you don't know the game, you've already lost. So now that you guys know the game, I've given you all these pearls. Right? I'm going to now show you how we dissect USMLE questions. Okay? I'm going to show you how we dissect USMLE questions. All right? Was this helpful, guys? So far, say yes in the chat if you feel like everything we've talked about so far is super helpful for you. This information you're learning today is actually a game changer, and you guys are actually able to understand the mindset of how the USMLE is designed. The exam is designed to help you, but the system is not, right? But once you now understand the system, you just play the game. Once you know the game, let me help you show you how to play the game the right way. Remember, all the US medical students have been studying for almost 2 years. That's just the truth before they get to their dedicated study period. That's all they're doing. You as an IMG, right? Here's the problem. Let's say Joe, right? Joe is from Ghana. He comes to America. He never went to school here. And then he wants to take step one. He doesn't know anything. You go on Google, you're typing all this stuff up. And then you pick up your first aid, right? So this is first aid, right? I want somebody to put in the chat, what is the first thing you guys notice when you open your first aid? When you open this book, right? And everybody tells you everything in this book is high yield. What is the first thing? Confused. Okay, John said confused. I want to see more. All right, guys on YouTube, Instagram, what is the first thing you guys notice when you guys open first aid? Colors. Connie says OMG. Daniel says complex. All right, what are we saying on YouTube here? You know, it makes disconnected. You're like, I went to medical school. How can you tell me everything for the first, dizzy, overwhelmed? How can you tell me everything in medicine for the first 2 years of my life is in this book? It's not even the real thing, right? You start to get like, overwhelmed because first of all, you cannot understand for the life of you. You went to medical school for 6 years. Some of you guys MBBS from different medical school, right? You probably have an MBBS, right? And you come and you know how many textbooks you had to read. Like, I mean, just Robbins pathology is 2 times the size of first aid. Robbins. Goyen pathology is bigger than first aid. I can name all the medical BRS. Like, all these books are much bigger than first aid. And somehow, magically, you as an IMG are told, memorize first aid. And you're like, what the WTF? What are you talking about? I don't understand how you want me to memorize this information, right? Dr. I4LO says, yes, overwhelm is an understatement. But the truth of the matter is the US students know how to use first aid because they've done, listen, when I was in med school, I remember one exam was 36 chapters long, 36 chapters, my humongous block, 36 chapters. I read, my head was about to explode. But then what I realized when I go into first aid, I start seeing those little facts from the 36 chapters I just read. So I can connect it. I'm like, oh, we just talk about sideroblastic anemia. Oh, we just talk about porphyria. Oh, we just talk about acute myeloid leukemia. And now the details has actually been filled in for me in class. When I go to my QBank and do my first aid, everything is start to make sense, right? To be honest with you, if you took UWorld Qbank and printed it out as a book, it's much better to read that than actually go through first aid. Facts. That's just the truth. If you took UWorld and print out all the explanations from any QBank or SmashUSMLE QBank and you print as a book, that is a much easier or better way to study. But obviously, it's not going to help you because I'll show you in the next 5 or 10 minutes why printing that out is not going to help. And actually doing this is going to help you guys. Okay? So now let's dive in and do some questions. Now, I'm giving away 3 of my audio book. This is my brand new book, USMLE and Complex Success Secrets. If you have not bought this book yet, it is amazing. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys on Instagram. This book right here, okay, amazing. It's 300 pages, all right? And the book literally goes over all the secrets. Today, I think we're going to spend maybe an hour and a half on this webinar or so. And I can't tell you everything, right? Everything I'm teaching you right now is from this book because I got sick and tired of going on platforms and people just giving all this advice. And I said, okay, can somebody just tell the blatant truth? Okay. So I decided to put it in a book for you guys. Okay. The book is free. We only ship it for $9.95 and I'll put the link. It's on USMLE and Complex successsecrets.com. I'll just put the link here. USMLE and complexsecrets.com. I'll put in the chat for those of you guys who have not seen the site. Let me see if I can give you guys the link. I'll put it on YouTube for you guys also, okay? But I'm gonna give you the audio version. So the audio version just came out actually like a few days ago, and we have some free vouchers. I got 3 free vouchers. So I'm going to be giving it for free. We're going to pick in some random winners. So if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you this book, the audio version for free. You're going to get a voucher. I'm just going to ask you for your email and then we're going to give it to you so you can download it for free. That's my free gift for you guys today. Okay. Let's see here, but I'm going to put the link. If you don't win the book, that's totally fine. It's USMLE and complexsecrets.com. USMLE, and I'm going to put it on YouTube for you guys on YouTube. For our guys on Instagram, we can put the link for them also, okay? Let's do some USMLE questions, okay? And the next section, we're going to be talking about process of active learning. I've kind of shown you guys the history of the USMLE, how to use NBME score report. We talk about how to create your schedule. We're also going to, now we're going to be talking about how to do a USMLE question. Okay. Now, let me share my screen. All right. There we go. Here's my QBank. Where are you, buddy? I got a bunch of windows here, so I got to find my QBank. Oh, found it. Okay. Okay. We're going to solve a USMLE question together, and I'm going to teach you one of the techniques that I teach my students in our SmashUSMLE program here. Okay. So before we answer this question, how many of you, when you read a question in the QBank, you read from the top to the bottom? Be honest. Just say yes in the chat. If you read questions from the top to the bottom, right? You always start a 25-year-old woman down. Just say yes in the chat. I just want to see. Okay. So Bobby said I read the options first. Faber says yes. Okay. All right. So from now on, if you have not learned this technique, don't ever do that again. Okay. Please don't ever read the questions from the top again. It's a trap. The problem with standardized exam is there's a technique which in SmashUSMLE reviews we call it the ease method. All right. The ease method is literally to make your life easier. When you take the USMLE on the exam day, here's what's going to happen to you. I've taken it all. I took step 1, step 2, CK, complex level 1, complex level 2, complex level 3. I've taken in-training service exam. I've taken my ER boards. I've taken my written. I've taken more exams than you can possibly think in your life. So I've been doing this for too long. Okay. So when I'm telling you that this is the technique you use, it's going to be against everything you've ever known in your life, because all your life, you've always memorized for an exam and you can read from the top to the bottom. Please don't do that again. The first thing is on the actual exam, I'm telling you what will happen to you on the exam itself. Every question is a different topic, right? The first question might be embryology. The next one might be micro. The third one might be endocrine question. The next one is cardiology. It's all mixed questions, right? Make sense, guys? So the anxiety that students have when they're taking step 1 is usually because you're like, oh my gosh, it's micro. Oh my gosh, it's endo, right? And you are kind of anticipating what's the next question. Let me show you the game. The game is really simple. The first thing is glance at all the options. It's only going to take you a few seconds. Trust me. The first time you're going to do is going to feel weird. But the truth of the matter is when you glance at all these options, can somebody tell me when they see all these options of lead, garlic, arsenic, carbon monoxide, mercury, I want you to say in one word what the main concept that they're testing you on is. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat in one word what the main concept that this question is testing you on. Connie says poison. John says poisoning. Micah says toxicity. But I want you to be very specific. You see, the USMLE is an asshole of an exam. You know why? It's highly specific. They want you to be extremely specific in whatever you're doing. There's no great answers, right? So toxicity, these are all really, really good, but I would prefer you say something like heavy metal toxicity. Does that make sense? Heavy metal toxicity, right? Now, under what subjects does heavy metal toxicity fall under? Anyone? Heavy metal toxicity. Pharm, right? Some kind of pharmacology, right? So we're doing this exercise together because this is the exercise I want you to be doing every time you do questions. Eventually, it's going to become a subconscious thing. At the beginning, it's going to be a whole lot of hard work, but this is where the active learning process really begins. Because what I found over the years is most students will casually read the questions, they pick an answer, and then they move on. And I'm like, what are you doing? Now, let me give you guys the good news. I know I've been giving you a lot of tough news all day. There's good news and there's hope. You know what the hope is? Every question in the exam has one concept and one answer. Did you guys know that? Every question has only one concept and one answer. That's the good news. That should make you happy, which means no matter what you do, no matter how you guys dissect any question, I can only physically test you on one concept, one topic, one answer. So with me, it's a one-to-one relationship. That should make you feel good because you'll be like, I just have to know. So Dr. Adesina, what you're telling me is I just have to know that one particular topic well, and I should know what answer goes along with it, and I'll get a 260. Yeah, it's that easy. Yes, I'll show you. Okay, so now that we've identified that this is heavy metal toxicity, right? Because if you are somebody who's doing a question, right? And before you solve the problem, you did not come up with what the most important topic they're testing you on. You can't know the answer, right? You're blank. Your head is completely blank. You're clueless. So there's no way you can solve the problem. Now, just before you know that it's heavy metal toxicity is a plus because now you've identified that, you know what? I may not know the answer, but I know this is going to be some kind of toxic ingestion. Okay, good. The second step, so that step I just taught you is called examination. Examining the options. The second step is you want to highlight the last line of the question. Here's another good news. You guys should be happy about this. Do you know that no matter what question they ask you, the question stem will always end with a line at the end? That's always the final question, right? No matter all the shenanigans and the jargons they put up in the stem, at the end of the day, it's only going to be one line that's going to ask you, what is the most likely diagnosis? What is the mechanism of action? What is the first step in management? What is the best step in management? What is the most accurate test? What is the first, right? It sounds like, or which gene is responsible for this mutation, right? Or what is the most likely cause of the patient's disease? What is the pathophysiology behind this, right? What physiology? It sounds like a bunch of what's and why and what, right? So that's another good news. You know now, since you can come back to me tomorrow and say, Dr. Adesina, I didn't tell you, right? That the question is going to end up as a one-to-one. And it's also going to be a what question or why. So this is a why, what game. So what are you freaking out about? If you know that's how they're going to always ask their questions, you shouldn't be surprised. Read the last line because guess what? Sometimes all you need is to read the last line of the question. That's it. That's literally it. Because sometimes they'll give you all this long stem and they ask you, what is the mechanism of action of penicillin? And you're like, are you kidding me? I just spent my last, 45 seconds reading a whole stem of questions and you just want to ask me what is, get used to it. Okay. Now the highlighter is very important that you know how to use the highlighter. Okay. Now the next step is we're going to start reading from the top. 25-year-old woman returning for a 4-day stay in Africa, complains of vomiting and diarrhea. So they always have a chief complaint. On further examinations, you notice her breath smells like garlic. Biochemical studies reveal that she is deficient in a key compound in the Krebs cycle. A blood smear shows a normal red blood cell. She denies any recent exposure to fire. What's the most likely cause of a patient presentation? Now, look at what I've done. And I'm going step by step. I'm going slow for a reason because I don't want you to miss this point. The second step is I find the associations. I've highlighted all the important points inside the question. Can you guys see that? And now the next step is for you to summarize. So now I can summarize all this case by saying, look, did you guys know they put the highlighter there for you to be able to be successful on the USMLE? Can you guys see that? Now, no matter how long the case is, I can see the key important facts. Mistake number 7. We've talked about so many mistakes before now. A lot of students don't use the highlight. They'll read the question from the top to the bottom. They get to the answer. They don't know the answer. Then they go back and reread the question again as if like they missed something. They forget to highlight again and they keep recycling. They get panicky and then they skip the question or they pick the wrong answer. You see, it's a trap. Now, this case is just a 25-year-old female returned from Africa, complaining of nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Has a breath that smells like garlic and has pretty much a biochemical compound that's been inhibited in the Krebs cycle, right? And they're asking me what's causing this patient presentation. So now I've summarized the case in my head. So you have to get used to summarize. I don't care if it's 10 lines. When you become an attending physician, so when I talk to my colleagues, right, I just tell them, hey, I've got a 25-year-old female that has acute cholecystitis, has elevated LFTs, and TBD of 5, AST of 400, and ALT of like 200. I've already given the patient ceftriaxone. He's going to surgery. That is the summary of my case, right? You need to get used to doing that, practicing that. The first time is going to be hard, but get used to doing it, because the more you summarize the case, the easier it is. And lastly, you are now going to ensure that the diagnosis that you're thinking in your mind matches the summary of that one-to-one. Does it match that one-to-one we talk about? Yes or no? Now, I know some people are already putting answers in the chat, but I'm going to ignore it because I want us to break down this case one by one, because I'm going to ask you one question, right? So, do you think the answer is lead? And why is the answer not lead? You see? Anybody know why the answer is not lead? I want to know why. What inside the case is telling me that this answer is not lead? Anyone? Let me see people on Instagram. What do you guys think? Can you guys see the case? Let me pull it up here. Why is the answer not lead? Somebody says no neurologic symptoms. Because the red, thank you, Gustavo. What does lead cause? What kind of anemia does lead cause? What kind of anemia does sideroblastic anemia? What are you going to see on those kind of red blood cells in sideroblastic anemia? What are you going to see if I give you a smear of a red blood cell that patient has lead toxicity, right? Ring sideroblast. Thank you, guys. Ring sideroblast. So by default, you can easily rule out lead out of this case, because they're already told the patient has a normal red blood cells. Okay. Let's go to garlic. Do you guys actually think she ate garlic? Let's be honest. Do you guys really think this is a garlic toxicity? No, please excuse me. We're not going to ask you a garlic question at the USMLE. That's a joke. Maybe your grandmother or you might eat garlic, but garlic is not going to give you nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Okay. How many of you think is carbon monoxide? How many of you think is carbon monoxide? Or is anything in the case ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning? Right? Somebody already said basophilic stippling with red blood cells led with microcytic anemia. It's not microcytic, sideroblastic anemia, okay? So there's no fire. Thank you, guys. Do you see why I highlighted no exposure to fire? You see how, because I have highlighted it, I know this patient does not have any evidence of carbon monoxide poisoning. You guys see that? Now we're down to arsenic and mercury, right? But look at the case. The case is telling you that it's inhibiting a key compound in the Krebs cycle. This is the next level of thinking. Now, if you actually understand what happens in the Krebs cycle, understanding like glycolysis go from glucose to pyruvate, pyruvate to acetylenzyme A. Acetylenzyme A is going to go into the Krebs cycle, right? And then you are going to form all those NADHs and FADHs and push all of them down to electron transport chain. That's the summary of the Krebs cycle and whatnot, right? But here, can somebody tell me, right, what compound could be inhibiting something inside the Krebs cycle, right? Which of these toxic metals inhibits a particular compound inside the Krebs cycle? And I want to know the name of the enzyme, but what cofactors is being inhibited, because that is the final level of that one-to-one that you and I are talking about. Whoever gets that answer correct is going to get a free book. You're going to get a free audio book. I'm going to give you the code. I see Ayub. Ayub said pyruvate decarboxylase is inhibited by arsenic. I am freaking impressed. But what part of pyruvate decarboxylase is actually being inhibited? Who said that? Ayub, right? Ayub, I need you to send me an email, okay? This is my email, dradeshina@ftplectures.com. I need you to send me an email. Awesome job, right? Because, right? So, but I want to know what exactly is being inhibited by arsenic. Now, let me show you where the active learning gets into gear. I'm about to blow your mind, guys. This is going to blow your mind. Remember at the beginning of the case, I told you it's a one-to-one relationship. Let's jump in and let's do some active learning together. I am going to pull up my first aid and show you guys something that you have never seen before, okay? Let's solve this problem, because it's not enough that you actually just know the answer is, maybe arsenic, right? But let me show you why, okay? I am going to pull up my first aid right now. Let me share my screen. And let me show you. So the next step is, where in the world did they get this question in first aid? This is step one. You can do this for step two also. I'm pulling up first aid, and you know what I do? I search the word arsenic in first aid. Okay. Now, let me show you guys. Can you guys all see my screen? Can you guys all see my screen? Did you notice that when I type in the word arsenic inside my first aid, now on page 720, there's arsenic. On page 528, there's arsenic. 522, page 269, page 120, page 436, page 292, page 745, page 118, and page 476. I'm going to show you why this is extremely important. Let's assume you are doing biochemistry, right? And let's go to page 76. Now, rather than you getting a piece of paper, right? Because here's one of the things that wastes your time when you guys are studying for boards. Flipping through this book and looking for the answers. I just gave you guys the shortcut of how to find topics. That alone will save you hundreds of hours. I promise you. Hundreds of hours. Let's see where they got the question from. Check this out, guys. Pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Arsenics inhibit lipoic acid. You're like, lipoic acid? Where is lipoic acid? Well, let's go back and look at pyruvate dehydrogenase. Remember, pyruvate dehydrogenase is a mitochondrial enzyme complex that links glycolysis to the TCA cycle, right? And look at the reaction. You take pyruvate with nicotinamide adenosine diphosphate, right? Dinucleotide, right? NAD plus coenzyme A. You take that combination together and you make acetyl coenzyme A. That is the first step between glycolysis and the Krebs cycle. We're going to eliminate some CO2 and we're going to make some nice NADHs, electron carriers. But look, this enzyme complex, they told you it's a complex. It contains 3 enzymes. But those 3 enzymes require 5 cofactors. Stop it. Stop, guys. In biochemistry, anytime an enzyme requires cofactors, it's going to show up on your exam. Let me repeat that. For you guys on Instagram, you see me? Anytime that a biochemical enzyme has a cofactors associated with it, it is going to show up on your damn test. You guys don't know why I'm so passionate about this. Because I am. Let's go over the cofactors. Look at it. This complex requires thiamine pyrophosphate, which is vitamin B1. It requires lipoic acid, coenzyme A, which is basically vitamin B5, pantothenic acid. It also requires FAD, which is vitamin B2, riboflavin, and NAD plus, which is vitamin, and we have niacin, right? We have niacin, which is supplied by niacin, vitamin B3. Look at this. You don't think this is important? A complex that requires vitamin B3, B2, right? B5. These are the things that are basically making the FAD and NAD plus, right? And the coenzyme A. And vitamin B1 and lipoic acid. We call them tender, loving care for Nancy. In first aid, they say the lovely coenzymes for nerds. I don't remember that. That's too hard for me. Tender, loving care for Nancy. That's how I teach it in my program. Tender, loving care for Nancy. The loving part is what's inhibited by arsenic. Remember when we talk about the one-to-one relationship. So now the one-to-one relationship that you really need to know is really the truth of the analysis. You need to know that lipoic acid is inhibited by arsenic, and that's how arsenic poisons people. Are we getting this? That's the one-to-one, guys. Not just arsenic, arsenic inhibiting lipoic acid, inhibiting pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. That is the micro level of knowledge the step 1 exam or step 2 CK wants you guys to know at the level of that. Now, let's look at what first aid says about arsenic. Arsenic poisoning. What are the clinical findings? Imagine a vampire that has a pigmented skin cancer, vomiting and having diarrhea, running away from a cutie, has prolonged QT with garlic breath. It's a nice little story for you to remember arsenic poisoning. But I'm going to show you something now that's going to blow your mind. You, as a person who studied for step 1, cannot just read this and move on. No, you can't. Except you've already understand the glycolysis pathway. You understand the pyruvate and acetyl coenzyme A pathway, or you already understand the Krebs cycle. So guess what? If I scroll up in my first stage right here, this is the whole biochemistry. Let me show you where the magic is happening. Right here, guys. Are you focusing? Are you seeing what I'm writing? Pyruvate has to be converted to acetyl coenzyme A, and it requires this number 14 enzyme. What number 14 enzyme? Pyruvate dehydrogenase. Okay? Right? Pyruvate dehydrogenase right here. And then we have a pyruvate carboxylase, which is basically what allows you to convert pyruvate to oxaloacetate. Okay? So here's the big deal. Here's the big deal, right? Because, and I'm actually looking here why they have, because it's saying pyruvate carboxylase before. Let me just make sure we're on the right page. I'm sorry, pyruvate dehydrogenase. I don't know why I kept saying pyruvate. I kept saying this doesn't sound right. Pyruvate dehydrogenase, not pyruvate carboxylase. That's for gluconeogenesis. Okay, it's pyruvate dehydrogenase. I beg your pardon. Sorry about that. I think I just been saying the wrong words. Okay, so pyruvate dehydrogenase is the complex we're talking about. Okay, so right here, pyruvate dehydrogenase is this important enzyme you must know, right? That's inhibited by arsenic, which is inhibiting the lipoic acid. Right. So if what this question is testing me, if I block, right, the process of making pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A, I'm going to have tons of pyruvate build up in my body. Does that make sense? Now, if you don't know that, I've got good news for you. If you're already part of SmashUSMLE review program, I have taught pretty much out of first stage. Let's jump into our SmashUSMLE review, SmashUSMLE website. Okay, and let me show you how active learning is the name of the game. Let me share my screen. Okay, if you're already part of the SmashUSMLE review program, this is what our backend will look like. You'll log in, and then we have this. Our study strategies are here, and then let's say you go into the video section. And let's say you're an IMG or Caribbean medical student, or even a US student, I don't care, and you don't just remember this stuff. You come in here and go on the biochemistry, you go on the metabolism. You click here and click on pyruvate metabolism. It's a 29-minute video. You can even search for it, right? And look at what I've done for you guys. Look at what I did for you. I took first aid and then I explained how glucose is converted to pyruvate. You see, tender loving care for Nancy. You can watch a 29-minute video, right, on this topic, right? And you can increase the speed of the video to almost 2 times the speed of the video, or 1.5 times the speed of the video, which means you can actually get through this video in less than 20, maybe 22 minutes. And now you know everything about pyruvate metabolism. Now you're going to understand arsenic toxicity. Does that make sense? And then you can go back into the QBank and say, let me see. Let's pick the answer. Boom. The correct answer is C, right? This is arsenic poisoning. But why is arsenic a problem, right? The question is, you're always questioning why. In many developing countries, their water is dirty. They drink unpurified, dirty, toxins involve water, right? Pure water is not all over the world, guys. So the problem is this 25-year-old woman went to Africa, drank water at the street, just bought water, and developed, breath starts smelling like garlic. Because she drank the water, let's common sense, it went into her stomach. The arsenic now bound into our stomach, get reabsorbed into our portal vein, goes into our bloodstream, right? Start poisoning our tissues. She got gastroenteritis, she got nausea, vomiting, and GI symptoms from it. When she talks, our breath smells like garlic. But why? The reason is because that arsenic that's inside the water she drank is inhibiting lipoic acid, blocking our cells from converting pyruvate into acetic coenzyme A. And unfortunately, she's having buildup of pyruvate in her tissues, and now she's having nausea and vomiting and diarrhea. Does this make sense, guys? So if you now read, your job is to read the explanation. Pyruvate dehydrogenase usually does this, right? We just talked about it. It has the cofactors, pyruvate dehydrogenase, right? Pyrophosphate, FAD-NAD coenzyme, and lipoic acid. But this is the most important fact. Arsenic allosterically inhibits enzymes that require lipoic acid. So any enzyme in your body that requires lipoic acid is going to be inhibited by arsenic. They always get this rice water stool. And sometimes the severe toxicity can cause neurologic disturbance and even kill people at high levels. Now, we're not done. You're like, are you kidding me? Yes, we're not done. Let me show you how you take, this is what I called USMLE 10x exponential knowledge 2.0. Okay. Now for you, you are probably just studying biochemistry, right? You're like, oh my gosh, this is just on biochemistry alone. You know, man, I guess I'm good. No, you are not good. You're not good. You're not good yet. Let's go back into first aid and see where else in my first aid am I going to find arsenic. Are you ready? Then let's not waste any more time. Let's do it. Pull up my first aid. Where you at, buddy? Remember, at the beginning, look at what I did. I searched for arsenic, didn't I? But first aid gave me multiple pages that arsenic existed. So guess what I'm going to do if I were you studying for boards? I'll click on this page, and this is page 676, and all of a sudden, arsenic is sitting right here. In patients that have inhalation injury, arsenic poisoning can damage your lungs if you inhale arsenic. Are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing this? Arsenic, right? Many patients present with burns, right? CO inhalation, cyanide poisoning, or arsenic poisoning. You know what they develop? They're going to have complication of noxious stimuli from smoke, right? They get inhalation injury to their lungs. And this is what causes, like, you know, they get, you know, this edema of their airways, congestion, bronchial soot deposition, right? From people who inhale. So now, not only can somebody ingest arsenic into their mouth, if it's inside, like parts of a house, or like inside, like things inside your house, if it burns down the house or for some kind of reason, you can inhale this stuff into your lungs. And these toxins can bind to the epithelial cells, the mucoepithelial cells inside the lungs, right? And causes damage, right? This is what we call chemical tracheobronchitis. So now you have learned two facts about arsenic. It can go to the lungs and it can cause GI symptoms. Let's click on the next page. Here's arsenic again. Arsenic, look, the squamous cell carcinoma is the second most common skin cancer, but it's associated with what? Arsenic, occasional arsenic exposure. So now you realize that arsenic is more than what I thought about arsenic. What more do I need to know about arsenic? Arsenic causes squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. When you thought you were done, there's more. Here's arsenic again in first aid. When you get to dermatology, we're talking about vascular tumors of the skin, angiosarcoma. Right there, arsenic again. Arsenic causes angiosarcoma. It's association, hepatic angiosarcoma. So when they want to write another question for you on arsenic, they're going to test you on a patient that has this red blood cells malignancy, blah, 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 blah. They're going to describe it, and they're going to describe angiosarcoma, and the answer is still going to be arsenic. So now arsenic causes squamous cell skin cancer, squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. It causes hepatic angiosarcoma. It causes inhalation injury, causing chemical tracheobronchitis. But how do we treat this? Look, in the neoplastic section of first aid, arsenic is mentioned again. But how do you get it? From herbicides. They're going to describe a vineyard worker who's working in the vineyard and playing, spraying herbicides on plants and inhaled this stuff in his lungs, and now he develops lung cancer. Are you seeing this? Or he ingests it into his body and develops angiosarcoma of the liver. Or because the herbicide have been, sprayed on his skin, and now over a long period of time, maybe 10, 15 years, he developed squamous cell carcinoma of the skin from arsenic toxicity. This is called the next level of mastery, guys. We're not done. Let's go back to this page again. We talk about tender loving care for Nancy. We said arsenic inhibits lipoic acid. Let's read this line again. When you were reading it maybe the first time in first aid, you're going to miss it because it says, imagine a vampire with pigmentary skin changes. Where is that? Now, what does that mean to you? In first aid, all they say is skin cancer. Bull crap. What kind of skin cancer? Squamous cell carcinoma. That's what your brain should be thinking, not just skin cancer. Because there's too many skin cancer. There's melanoma, there's squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. So there's basal cell carcinoma. How do you know what kind of skin cancer arsenic causes if you did not force yourself to learn it and find out the information? Look, the case we did only talk about vomiting and diarrhea, but it's running away from acuity because the next case they might test you on arsenic is going to be a QT prolongation. They're going to give an EKG of the same patient and ask you what toxicity. You see, it's still the same concept, guys. I know I'm a little bit worked up about it, but I'm showing you the next. This is how you get to 60, guys. We're not done. Let's go to page 436. The same concept is mentioned in GI, which means when you guys get to the GI section, and you have forgotten everything you learned in biochemistry about arsenic, they remind you again that a patient that has liver tumors has angiosarcoma of the liver. But what is angiosarcoma? It's a malignant tumor of endothelial origin, right? Angio, blood vessels, right? Exposure again to arsenic, same concept. Now, I asked you guys at the beginning, what is the main concept? And you guys got it right. You told me arsenic is a toxicity and it's under pharmacology. Good job. Excellent. I am proud of you. But how do we treat it? You give the patient dimercaprol or succimer, because the next case they're going to test you on is going to be how do you treat the patient when they come in with arsenic toxicity. Now, you're going to know that, wow, I didn't know I'm supposed to give them succimer, right? I didn't know I'm supposed to give them dimercaprol, right? You've just learned brand new information. There's more. Let's click on the next page. Acute promyelocytic leukemia, M3 version. The treatment is arsenic trioxide. Now, this is not arsenic toxicity, but this is an opportunity for you to realize when you get to hematology that arsenic can be used to treat something, but it's arsenic trioxide. Instead of, remember guys, AML, the M3 version, the promyelocytic, is the only one we can treat with vitamin A. Thank God that's actually a cancer we can treat with vitamin A. That's all trans-retinoic acid. But guess what? If you don't see that answer on step one, you know what they're looking for? Arsenic trioxide. Because if I'm a QBank writer, I know that you know the answer is all trans-retinoic acid for treatment of AML. I'm going to flip it on you and then throw in arsenic trioxide and see if you recognize that. There's more. Arsenic causes glycolysis to produce zero net ATP. It causes zero net ATP. It makes sense. You make 2 ATPs in glycolysis. This bad boy is wasting my other ATPs that I'm supposed to make from pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. Duh! Let's go next. AML. Why is arsenic hanging around in AML? I just told you. Here's the problem. Risk factors for causing acute myelogenous leukemia. Check this out. Acute myelogenous leukemia. Risk factors. Alkylating chemotherapy, radiation, myeloproliferative disorder, patients that have Down syndrome, right? They have the translocation 15-17. It responds to what? All trans-retinoic acid and what? Arsenic. So for the first time in our lives, we can actually treat a patient with arsenic trioxide who has cancer. But wait a minute, maybe because it's a cancer and not a regular thing, that's why we're treating with a toxic metal. But how does it do it? Induces the differentiation of those promyelocytes. And that's it, guys. How many of you have spent that amount of time while you are learning a case to gain all that knowledge the first time around? Or maybe the second time around, or the third time around. You keep complaining and saying, oh my God, it's the same concept. How many times are they going to test me on this? Yes, how many more times can I not test you on it? Now let's go back to the case, folks. Let's go back to the case. Where we at? Pull up my QBank. This is SmashUSMLE QBank, by the way. Check this out. When you are now solving this problem the next time, you're going to tell me that arsenic blocks lipoic acid on pyruvate dehydrogenase. You're going to tell me that because that's the most important fact, because it's one of the tender loving care for Nancy cofactors. So you're going to say that. And then you're going to say more. You're not going to stop there. Your brain should now take it to the next level and say, what more do I need to know about arsenic that I don't know yet? And then you say, arsenic, when it gets into my lungs, is going to cause inhalation injury from chemical tracheobronchitis. You're going to tell me that arsenic, when I ingest it and become a toxic metal, and gets on my skin, it can cause squamous cell carcinoma. You're going to tell me that when somebody who's a vineyard worker who's spraying herbicides, you guys just doing his job, right? He's just spraying herbicides to kill all those bugs that are from eating the plant. But the problem is he's getting exposed to toxic metal from arsenic from the chemical composition of that little spray. He doesn't know that. If he keeps ingesting it and touching his mouth and eating without washing his hands, just pick up this stuff in real world, guys. It deposits in his liver and develops angiosarcoma of the liver. And then how are you going to treat that patient when they come in? We give them Succimer or dimercaprol. Now you are a genius. You, my friend, have figured out how to study for the USMLE. But wait, there's more. What if I told you there's more to the story? Right? What if I told you guys there's more? Now that we've read just the correct answer, the next step is reading the incorrect answer choices. Because the incorrect answer choices are literally going to be questions that we're going to rewrite for you again. Guys, I don't care that UWorld has 3,000 questions. I don't give a damn that SmashUSMLE has 2,000 plus questions. The truth of the matter is there's a finite amount of knowledge that we can test you on. That's just the truth. I know it's a lot of information, but there's actually a finite amount of knowledge that we can test you on the boards. It just feels like a lot. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. These incorrect answer choices, you have to read them and find out why they are incorrect. You don't get the chance or the opportunity to skip and go straight to educational objective and click the next button until you have read every single incorrect answer choices and see why they were wrong in the first place. And if you know the whys behind why they're wrong, did you know the whys behind why the question is wrong? You see, we're talking about active learning 2.0. Expand your knowledge, 10x. We already talked about basophilic stippling of red blood cells. We said lead is not going to be the answer because the patient doesn't have sideroblastic anemia. Now, of course, maybe you just started studying, biochemistry and you don't know sideroblastic anemia. That's okay. Just know that when you go back in the first aid and you get to the hematology section, you're going to learn about lead toxicity. And then you will learn about sideroblastic anemia. And I will teach you about sideroblastic anemia. Okay, guys? We said the garlic is not the answer, so forget that. Carbon monoxide, right? It's always from fires. But remember, there's so much to know about carbon monoxide. It has 220 times more affinity than oxygen. It causes carbonyl hemoglobin, right? Because it's not going to let your oxygen bind to the hemoglobin molecules. Your patient's going to become hypoxemic, right? They're going to have blue lips. They become cyanotic. You're going to have headaches, tachycardia, hypertension, right? Dizziness, confusion. And how do you treat it? You give them a high amount of oxygen, high flow oxygen, or put them in a hyperbaric chamber. You should be thinking like a doctor when you guys are studying for boards. Like if they give me a pathology, they tell me about the disease. Okay, I've known everything about the disease, the pathophysiology of the disease, and how am I going to treat it? That's the mechanism you should be going to your mind. Except the disease has no treatment, then you move on with your life. You force yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable to get a 260. I'm giving you guys I have never done this before. Okay. And then you learn about mercury poisoning. And finally, when you are now done, you read the educational objectives and make sure that the educational objectives summarizes the case for you and you yourself can explain it. Are you guys seeing what I'm talking about? Let's take a break for a second. If this is helpful, I want to see a lot of yes in the chat, guys. If what I just showed you just makes heck of a lot of sense, I want to see a lot of yes in the chat. Okay? So I challenge you today. If you're not doing what I just showed you, how do you think you're going to get a 260? I'm just being honest. How do you expect to score a 260 on the USMLE if you're not doing what I just went through? Was that easy? No. Was it a lot of work? Hell yeah. Is that the way to get it done? Mm-hmm. Does it take time? Yep. But will it save your life? Yes. Why do you think you're doing this, guys? Why do you think I am making you go through this process? I want you to be a better doctor. That's it. This USMLE is not an exam just for you to pass a damn test. You see, this information will haunt you for the rest of your life if you don't know the answers. Your patient, Mrs. Jug, that you have not met, that kid that has not shown up to you yet, is waiting for you to save their lives. What are you going to say? I didn't study for step 1 or step 2 CK. Is that what you're going to say? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, maybe it skipped my mind. Bull crap. You can't afford that, because the moment you say that, you've just killed the patient. You just misdiagnosed somebody. That's just the truth. That's the reason why we are forcing you to learn this information. See, at SmashUSMLE Reviews, we train you to become an excellent physician. That's it. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to make sure I tattoo this stuff into your brain until you get it. You're not going to like the process, but when you get a 260, you're going to be smiling. When you go get your residency interviews, you're going to be so excited. You're going to be like, wow, thank you for doing this. Thank you for letting me see how the information is relevant. Does this make sense, guys? This is active learning 2.0. I have never shared this before, ever. Okay. Now, for some of you guys, you might be like, man, I'm an ER physician. I'm a board certified ER doctor. Okay. And I've been teaching USMLE prep for the last 10 years, guys. We've spent the last 1.5 hours together, and we have broken down just one question. But that one question, you have learned almost 7 or 8 topics from one question. Because that's how we teach you at SmashUSMLE Reviews. When one of my tutors meet with you, that is how they're going to teach you the information. This is how we break down the concept. So if you don't know about the program, if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to spend the next 10 minutes to talk about SmashUSMLE Reviews on why you should join the program if you have not joined the program yet. Because we are here in the business of helping you to become an excellent physician. I'm going to pull up my screen and just share with you guys about our program. And at the end, if you guys have any questions, definitely post your questions because I'm going to be here to answer all your questions today. Okay. Thanks, Ayub. I see your comments in there. I see Dr. Ginny. I see Samuel there. Welcome to the webinar. Okay. All right. So let me pull up my slide. So we have a 97% pass rate here at SmashUSMLE Reviews. Okay. I'm going to share with you one of the testimonials of some of our students who have passed this exam. Okay. Now, remember, anything is possible if you believe in yourself and you believe in God, guys. Let me ask you a question. Do you have faith? Do you believe you can pass the USMLE? This is Taylor. She failed step 1 and she found SmashUSMLE review program. She literally called. She was upset. She failed the exam. And this is her story.
Hey there, my name's Taylor and I just passed step 1. Yay. So I just want to talk a little bit about my journey. I'm currently a 4th-year medical student and I went through Trinity School of Medicine on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Coming from the island to the States was kind of a difficult transition. You know, you're away from your school base, and I started studying for step 1 on my own, and unfortunately did not pass the first time around, which was incredibly devastating and discouraging at the time. So I knew the second time around, I needed a different approach. I've been an athlete my whole life, have had some amazing coaches, so I needed to find a coach and a personalized program. I'm also very financially conscious, so I also needed a program that kind of fit in my budget and a program where I get the most bang for my buck. So I was actually watching an ad of Dr. Adesina, and I felt like he was speaking directly to me because he was talking about somebody in my situation who had to fail and was very hopeful that, you know, with hard work, I could rewrite my own story and use it to my advantage, that I overcame something. So that gave me a lot of hope. And I took his program into consideration and compared it price-wise against other programs, price and effectiveness. And it seemed like SmashUSMLE was going to be a good fit for me. So I was paired with a tutor, and my tutor was amazing. We met once a week, every week leading up to my exam, and he completely made a personalized program just for me in my schedule and strategy. I really felt like I got a lot of bang for my buck. He provided me a lot of materials, nothing at all, that were really helpful. So I felt like I was studying very efficiently and had a good time with my tutor. He actually became a really good friend. So he was very encouraging, would check in, and even leading up to my test, Dr. Adesina reached out personally, which I thought was awesome, and gave me some really encouraging words. And after I had taken my test and passed, he had a lot of kind things to say as well. So it was awesome to see his involvement in the program. There's a WhatsApp group that talks about questions and just different things surrounding, you know, the USMLEs and residency match. So it was really helpful to be connected to that whole community. And honestly, everything that I learned leading up for step 1, I'm taking into step 2 and will also help me with step 3. So I really feel like I got the most bang for my buck and just had a really enjoyable experience studying for one of the biggest tests of my life. So if you're on the fence about it, give it a try. Work with one of the tutors. I promise it's such a good investment. Go for it and good luck.
There's Taylor, guys. Taylor failed step 1, and in literally 3 months from failing, got a 225, right? That is the kind of results we get you in this program. We just don't play around. So let me tell you about how the program works, okay? We have 2 packages. We have a 4-week live hybrid USMLE step 1 and step 2 CK masterclass course. It's included with a self-paced course, okay? You get a lifetime access. And then we have the self-paced online USMLE step 1 or step 2 CK course that has masterclass lectures. That usually has a 3 months, 6 months, or lifetime plan. Okay. When you join the program, all right, you're going to learn our Smart MD training course. Okay. Everything I've taught you today is just a snippet of what we actually train you in what we call the Smart MD track. Okay. So the Smart MD stands for strategy, master of clinical knowledge, assessment of clinical knowledge, and review and repeat, and then test these skills. There's so much we teach you in this program. Okay. How to prepare for step one, how to dissect questions, right? How to study daily with your schedule. We make a personalized study schedule for you, right? You guys have seen a preview of our video lectures. Wait till you see our masterclass. That's even mind blowing. All right. Like, it is insane. We provide you with thousands of practice questions for USMLE. We teach you how to use flashcards, and then we show you all the mistakes and teach you how to avoid them on the actual exam. I literally had a whole webinar where I go over everything that happens on the exam day with you guys. Insider secrets that you are not going to hear from anyone else. We share with you so that when you show up on the exam day, there's nothing that's going to phase you. You literally walk into the exam day and it's like I'm giving it to you away. Okay. Now, step one, you're going to get, when you sign up for the program, you're going to check your email, all right? And you're going to fill out our coaching application form. You're going to book your personal coaching call within the first 48 hours. If you get a 3 months plan, you get 1 hour of coaching. 6 month package is 2 hours of free coaching and 4 hours of lifetime. If you get the lifetime package, you get 4 hours of free coaching. Most programs will charge you $250 an hour to coach you. So you pay $1,000 just to talk to a coach. We give you for free. That's insane. Okay. Your USMLE coach will contact you to book your first discovery call on Skype. And this is what it look like. You literally be on Skype live with someone in our program. All right. And your coach will help you with the following. We're going to review your NBME score report. We're going to set your target score. And then we're going to determine your strong and your weak areas on the USMLE. And then we do a detailed self-assessment profile report about you. That is what makes us stand out. We don't use an umbrella method for everyone in the program. Then we teach you the correct strategies on how to study for the USMLE. And then we create a complete personalized study schedule based on your resources. Even if you have UWorld, you have first aid already, it doesn't matter, right? We will help you put those resources around what we have and give you the right resources so you don't have information overload. And then we give you actionable plans for the future meeting. And then we follow up with you to monitor your progress in the program. Okay. We then use your future NBME score report to recommend changes to your study schedule as needed. And then step 3, you're going to join our Smart MD WhatsApp group. We are the only company in America, the SmashUSMLE Reviews, that provide a community of international medical and medical graduate students on one platform. On our WhatsApp group, we got close to 500 students. Guess what? You don't need to go on Reddit. You don't need to go on forums. In our group alone, we challenge each other. We motivate. Just today, this afternoon, somebody posted a question. She said she didn't understand a topic. And within 5 minutes, one of the doctors already responded to her, give her the correct explanation, and she was so happy. You're surrounded by positive people, okay? We're going to challenge you with daily USMLE questions of the day to challenge your USMLE knowledge. And then at the end of the night, you're going to get the answers and the explanations for those USMLE questions. 24-hour support to answer your USMLE related questions. And then you also get access to our USMLE Study Buddy network. Last night, we just had a session where students are studying together online, on Zoom, all in our network. That's what you get access to. You don't have to be lonely and miserable anymore. Everybody is doing this. You need a positive environment. We provide that for you. Webinars like this, you're the first person to get an email or message on the WhatsApp group. So you get first dibs. People are watching us on Instagram right now. The reason why they can't join this group is because they did not book and they couldn't get in because it was sold out. Like, it's free, and yet still there's not enough spots. So other people have already, put their email address because they're part of our WhatsApp, Smart MD WhatsApp group. So if you want to be part of the program, and when I'm teaching like this live online and you want to have a direct access to me and my team, then you join the program, invest in the program, and enroll into the course, and then you get instant access. We give you up-to-date USMLE and residency information. And then you get motivational videos from me to push you every day. You can ask my students in my group. Once a week, I'll post a video that will challenge you. When you think you're down, when you think you're upset, when you think you don't feel like going, I push you even harder because I know you've got it in you. I'll be your coach, and my team will be there to help you through this process. My students have direct access to me and my team, my support to help you succeed on the USMLE. Step 4, you get start the Smart MD training course. All right. We've only spent literally 1.5 hours together, but I've put together a whole training course on how to learn this information. Okay. You can access that on SmashUSMLE.com. That's where you're going to learn on how to study the right way for the USMLE with our Smart MD course. You watch the short video series on correct study strategies for the USMLE. You learn how to understand clinical vignettes for the USMLE. You learn how to start your pre-dedicated and dedicated USMLE study period. We show you how to dissect USMLE questions, and more importantly, how to use your first aid. And we don't talk about master the boards here, guys. We use a different book for our review. Okay? Let me pull that up for you guys. Okay? This is the book you get for Step 2 CK. This is the best Step 2 CK book in the world. It's called Yale G First Aid Crush USMLE. All right? I'm going to put it on the camera. Crush USMLE, Step 2 CK and Step 3. This book is 700 and something pages long. It is the best Step 2 CK. For you guys on Instagram, can you guys see that? This is the best book for Step 2 CK, folks. You get it for free in my program. For free. As long as you're in the United States, we will ship it to you for free. There's more. You get mastery of clinical knowledge. You go through like my videos. Those videos at the bottom of them, I think I showed it to you guys. We put the links to the pages of first aid. So listen, I've done the work for you. I'm literally spoon feeding you the information. It's so easy. You have never seen medicine simplified like this before. A 5th grader. My son is 5 years old. He understands some of this stuff. I'm just kidding. But at least it's so simple, a 5th grader can understand it. Okay? Look at the comment one of our students said. I totally agree with you, Dr. Adesina. One of the greatest things you have done in your SmashUSMLE.com video is breaking the concept down in such a way that even a layman on the street will understand the medical jargons. Come on, guys. 99% of the content in first aid done for you. I already showed you how to navigate our website, right? We just did an example, right? We give you the latest updates. You watch the video, your life is so much easier. For Step 2 CK, the same concept. If you're studying general surgery, you click on that and you can watch it. Okay? Let's talk about the 4-week live hybrid masterclass. If you guys have heard about our 4-week live hybrid USMLE masterclass, you are missing out. We're the only company in the world that offers a 4-week rapid review live hybrid USMLE masterclass. It will blow your mind. If you think what I did with you guys, imagine me doing that with you for all the stuff on Step 1. Just imagine you come into my 4-week hybrid. It's literally from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern time every day. For 4 weeks, I will blow your mind away. I will simplify your life for you. I'll cover the highest yield concept on Step 1 and some Step 2 CK content. We cover cardio, endocrine, GI, neuro, repro, renal, musculoskeletal, psych, biochemistry, biostatistics. I literally simplify this stuff for you. At the end of the class, you get instant access to the videos and the audio lectures, usually around 11 p.m. Eastern, and then you complete a 40-question quiz. By the end of 30 days, your brain is going to explode, but you're going to be so smart. And at the end of the course, you still get access to the lectures, my self-paced course, the masterclass. I have a good news. You get a certificate of completion, but you must complete all the quizzes and score 50% on all the quizzes. And then you get a certificate. You can go back to your medical school in the Caribbean island and say, listen, I spent 4 weeks of my life with Dr. Adesina and his team, and here I am. Here's my certificate. And then they will approve you. If you want to check out a sample video, go to SmashUSMLEreviews.com. SmashUSMLEreviews.com. I'm going to put the link inside our WhatsApp group. Inside the Zoom call right now. You get access to the videos, quizzes, notes. I literally just published my own Step 1 book. It's amazing. Okay? It's 700 pages long because you guys complain that you can't read first aid. My team and I spent about 5 years to write the book, updated it, and we just released it literally a few days ago. It's available on our website. I can show you. Okay. Then you have access to the QBank. You guys have seen that. We have over 2,200 step 1 QBank, over 2,000 step 2 QBank, CK QBank. Okay. And finally, you get access to our flashcard. We have over 1,500 step 1 flashcards, over 1,000. Actually, we've added more to that step 1 flashcard. I think we have close to actually, if not 7,000 step 1 flashcards right now. Over 1,000 plus step 2 CK flashcards. And then I give you everything, exam day rituals. Okay, you're gonna learn the top 20 things you must do before taking the USMLE exam, which is the webinar I put together. You must watch this before watching the exam. Literally, I literally give you all the secrets completely away. I didn't hold anything back. We have a 97% pass rate on the USMLE because we work with you until you hit your target score. So here's what you're gonna get, okay? With the 4-week live hybrid USMLE masterclass course, 19 subjects covering online, step 1 or step 2 CK masterclass, 90 hours. The value is $4,997 value. You get access to 1,200 USMLE Step 1 practice quizzes with a value of $997 value. 2,000 USMLE Step 2 CK online QBank, $997 value. You get first aid. You get a Smart MD training course for $1,997 value. You get, we create a schedule for you. We also have a demo schedule you can download and edit and work with. 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 3-month schedule, $97 value. You get all my notes, all right? We actually condensed it because it was too long at 1,800. We condensed it to 780 pages for you, $497 value. You get exclusive access to my VIP, only VIPs, Smart MD WhatsApp group, $2,000. That's a value of $2,097 alone. You get my daily USMLE study tips from an attending physician, right? No one else is doing that. $997 value. You get access to email support system, $997 value. With the hybrid masterclass, with the self-paced course, I give you additionally 708 videos, right? Step 1 or step 2 CK videos, $4,997 value. With our QBank, $997 value. You get a private one-on-one coaching call, has a value of $1,997 in value. You get an audio prep book. You get the, if you're studying for step 2 CK, you get a UG Crush USMLE step 2 CK book, instant access to a high yield flashcard, which is a $297 value. How to prepare for USMLE ebook, and we give you the audio masterclass. That's a bonus. We give additional, which is $997 value. The USMLE exam day rituals ebook, $97 value. Another bonus on how to dissect USMLE questions, a 2-hour webinar. What I gave with you today was just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much I want to cover, but I can't. $597 value. Okay. The total value of the 4-week live hybrid masterclass and the self-paced course is $16,797 in value. But wait, we're not going to charge you $16,000 because I want you to pass this USMLE with 260. You can get started today with our 3-month plan for our self-paced course for $597. For the 6-month plan is $797 only for 6 months. And your lifetime access for $997. The average, you go check it out. Past program, Wolfpack, all the scores. They charge you $4,000, $3,000 for this. We're only charging $997 for a lifetime access. It's usually 10 years, but that's a long time. I'm going to put the link right now in the link. Get started right now and enroll in the program. Invest in your future. Get ready to smash the USMLE. You go to SmashUSMLE.com. We have payment plans. You can get started for just 2 easy payments of $299 for 3 months, right? We only charge you twice, or $399 for 6 months, or the lifetime plan is $499 for the lifetime plan. 2 payments each. Invest in the course. Enroll right now today. What is holding you back? You got to believe you can do this stuff. Invest in your education. So some of you have gone to Caribbean Island and spent over $200,000 and you don't even remember squat from when you go there. You come back and you're like, I just invested $100,000 and I don't remember anything. And I can't even take step 1. Some of you have already working at jobs you hate right now. Maybe working at Costco or HEB. And you're like, oh my gosh, I hate this job. I'm a doctor. I'm an MD. I have an MBBS. I am better than this. This is what you need. It's standing in front of you. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Invest in the course. Go to SmashUSMLE.com and invest in the program. I'm going to put the link for the guys inside the WhatsApp group. I'm sorry, in the Zoom call right now. So you can get the package. This is a limited time offer. Let me ask you a question. Are you motivated like Monica? Monica was just like you. I remember when she called me. Hear her story.
Hi, I'm Dr. Adesina, and I'm a recent student of Dr. Adesina's SmashUSMLE course for Step 1. I recently took his course, and I have to honestly say, it was the best decision I could have ever made in my entire life. I mean, there's so many programs out there, and after a while, when you start to compare and contrast, they're pretty much the same. But I one day was on YouTube and I had hit rock bottom. I was getting tired of studying. I didn't feel like I was really getting things to the point where I'd be ready to take my exam. But I was on YouTube one day and I saw Dr. Adeshina's ad on on YouTube, and he reached out to me. It really caught my attention and I felt like he knew exactly where I was coming from. So I took the chance and I took one of his master classes. And I have to be honest, after that master class, I said to myself, where have these classes been? Where have they been all my entire life? After the class, I felt clarity. I understood concepts that I had been struggling with for a really long time. It was as if he took all my loose ends and started pulling them together. And I just became more involved and I started to want to watch more master classes. And from there on, I knew that I had found exactly what I needed. From then on, I took more classes. I took all of his classes and I took my exam and I passed. This was the first time where an instructor actually showed passion for teaching, someone who actually reached out, gave you personal coaching one on one, and also sent motivational videos to encourage you, especially at the moments when you almost want to give up. I have to say that Dr. Adesina is someone who really enjoys teaching. He really enjoys making the impact that he has on students such as myself. And I just want to let you know that if you're contemplating taking his courses, I'm telling you, you need to go and sign up today. I'm just really happy that there's a program out there that actually works if you're willing to put in the work. So go ahead and sign up. I wish everyone the best of luck.
That's right. That's right, guys. Look, that is Monica. She was depressed. She was upset. She was tired. She saw my ad on YouTube, clicked the link. She was skeptical. She's like, I'm not sure if this black doctor knows what he's talking about, right? He's like, maybe he's not that smart. Even, is he really a doctor? She's not even sure. But I chose to show her the difference of what we do here. She took the leap of faith. She joined the program, scored a 225. This is somebody that's been struggling. So what are you looking at? What are you waiting for, right? I'm going to put the link right now for some of you who are ready to take that leap of faith, right? And so, listen, our January class is literally starting January the 9th. We have limited, like literally limited, we have limited amount of space in the class, okay? I'm putting the link right now on Zoom. For some of you guys already on YouTube, okay? Just click on that link, okay? Click on that link and enroll in the program right now, okay? This is your chance. You have an opportunity to literally change your life. I'm telling you, the stuff you're gonna learn in this program, in my program, it will be the best thing that ever happened to you, okay? Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that you can be the next success story? This is Damien. Damien failed step 1. He called and then he joined the program.
Hey guys, so my name is Damien Rowland. I'm a rising third-year medical student here in the South. And I just wanted to let you guys know that there's Kaplan out there, there's Princeton Review, there's so many other things you can probably use for step 1, step 2. But I use SmashUSMLE for Dr. Adesina. And all I can say is I didn't pass my first time. I'm a living witness that success can happen. I use his website. Videos are great. He was also great. And the thing about it is, you get a personal coach that's gonna walk you through everything, just how to take the test taking strategies, just that extra motivation that I felt like other companies just wanted you to have they want your money, you're a number, and that's it. But with SmashUSMLE, you have videos, you have a personal connection with Dr. Adesina, And overall, you get that confidence that you can do it. And I feel like at the end of the day, passing on the second time was, I mean, it was great. And I just felt like I attributed that to his system. And if you do it, trust me, you will be successful. And the number one thing you get a personal coach that's going to be by your side throughout the whole entire process and beyond. He responds to you, he texts you, he calls you. That's personal. And this is all a personal thing. We all want to be physicians. So take it from me, buy the program. It's well money spent. It's an investment in your future. Trust me, and you won't regret it.
I am so proud of Damien. They kicked him out of his rotation because he failed step 1 in his medical school. Do you know how depressing that is? Literally, he was on rotation. He got a call from the admin office and they told him, we just got your step 1 score and we noticed you failed. You cannot continue to do rotation anymore. They told him to stop whatever he's doing. And he was literally crying. They said, listen, we can help you overcome this. You can do this. 2 months. He passes step 1. He's back on rotation right now. So you have an opportunity to have the same story. Whether you fail step 1 twice, 2 or 3 times, I don't care how many times you fail the test. You're doing it the wrong way. All you need right now is to sign up and enroll into the 4-week live hybrid masterclass. We have a January class opening literally. We just literally opened the doors for registration a few days ago, I think 4 days ago, and the class already filled up. It's filling up fast. Okay, you can get started right now for just $597 for the self-paced course, because we have the 3 month and the 6 month and a lifetime. $797, $997 for the lifetime plan, or 2 payments of $299 for the 3 month package, $797, which is you can get 2 payments of $399, and the lifetime plan is $499. Just 2 easy payments. You go to SmashUSMLE.com. I've already put the link right now. If you have not seen the link, I just put the link on YouTube. It's currently right now on the Zoom call. Okay, get started, enroll into the program. Okay, you know, there's so much value that we provide for you here. We're not like Kaplan. We're not like any other program out there. We're literally invested in your education. You know what makes me excited is when I see you come into the program and you felt like you couldn't do something, and I challenge you and I push you and I said, listen, Bavin, Angela, Alvaro, Billy, Daniel, you can do this, right? Edie, you know, Moni, you know, Shivika, you know, Frederica, I'm telling you frankly that you can do this. You need to look me in the face and believe that you can overcome this exam. No matter how hard it feels like, listen, it's a slow process. You just have to grind it out every single day, right? And I always tell people, like, be 1% better than what you were yesterday to today. If all you do is improve 1%, you do that for 6 months, you'll be much better than where you started. The problem is most people don't have a plan. They don't have a schedule. They don't have a coach. They don't have tutoring. They don't have someone to guide them. So you're trying to do this by yourself. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, had to have a coach? Maybe you guys are not a basketball fan. Maybe you're a soccer fan. Why do all the soccer players still need a coach? Aren't they world-class players? Lionel Messi, Maradona, all these players, right? Why does LeBron James, the greatest basketball player of his generation, still needs a coach to tell him what to do? Because coaches unlock the best out of you. Because coaches show you what you can't see, even when you're at optimum condition. Because they're there to give you the roadmap of what you don't know yet. And that's what we provide for you. I am so passionate about medical education. I am in the business of revolutionizing the entire medical industry because I'm sick and tired of students going to medical school and it's basically YouTube University or Wikipedia University. Because that's what most students are doing. They're literally on YouTube and Wikipedia looking for the answers because the professors are not teaching them as well as they should. And no knock on the professors. They're smart. But maybe the way they articulate the information is not jiving well with you. Let me help you. Be open to the world of possibilities that you can do this. Nothing is impossible. Even the word impossible says, I am possible. Okay? I see Robert says, I've posted your information for our school on IUHS AMSA, American Medical Student Association. Hopefully, if you hear from my school, reach out as well. Robert, here's my email, okay? I'm going to put my email here. I would like to speak with you, okay? Because we do conferences like this for organizations. We do webinars like this for medical schools and student body. So if you guys are part of a medical school community, if you guys are already part of a WhatsApp group, okay, I'm going to give you guys a link that you can share with them so they can learn about our program. Because the students like, I have never heard anything about SmashUSMLE reviews. So I say, you are missing out, boy. Right? Here's the link. Everybody save this link, okay? All right. I'm going to put it on YouTube, okay? SmashUSMLE.com/free training. Okay. I literally spent about 45 minutes or so, explaining everything I've talked about. But this is this is a live webinar we're doing. So Robert, make sure you reach out to me. That's my personal email address. Now I was a man of my word. I said we're giving it with 3 free books. Okay. I think we've already given one to Ayub. Ayub, make sure you email me. All right. Don't forget. I'm going to also put my, let me see if I can get you guys to, send me a message on my WhatsApp number. Okay. Just give me one quick second here. So that we're going to pick 2 more winners to give away the free book, because I'm really in a good mood today. I really want to give out a lot of this stuff because I just want to help you. Honestly, like I'm really, really just obsessed about helping you guys because I know you guys are going to become success stories. Give me just 1 second here. Let me pull up my, I'm going to put my number for you guys to save. If you want to send me a message on WhatsApp, okay? Now, I'm just going to spend the next couple of minutes to answer some questions. I think a couple of people are asking me some questions here. If you have any questions, I want you to post in the chat. Listen, this is live. You may not get this opportunity again, right? How many times are you going to get an opportunity to talk to a board certified ER physician, right? And talk to them live, right? If you want to ask me a question directly, I'll even give you the mic, right? Just put yes in the chat if you want to speak with me and you want to ask the specific questions. I'll even allow you to talk to me directly live online right now. Let's talk, let's chat. Tell me what your challenges are. Tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what I can help you with. Because I've talked to thousands of IMGs, literally thousands. I've lost count, thousands over the last 10 years. Everybody has different problems, but there's so much similarities amongst a lot of us, okay? And I want to be able to help you. You see, let me tell you another thing that drives me with regards to you guys becoming doctors, okay? Let me be honest with you. You see, I work in a hospital, and there's not a lot of Black doctors in my hospital, but there's not a lot of Black doctors in medicine, period. Just immigrants. There's and I want to see more of you guys. I want to see you guys in residency. I need more diversity. You know how many times I go into the room and my patient is like, are you the nurse? Are you the janitor? Are you here to clean the room? Are you my CT tech? I said, no, ma'am, I'm your doctor. They're like, oh my God, you're the doctor. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, you don't need to apologize. I understand. You don't get to see people like me every day that walk into the room. Maybe I just look too young, right? So my looks are fooling people, right? But the truth of the matter is I need more immigrants in the American medical system. The American dream is real. But to get it, you're not going to be sleeping. Because if you're sleeping, it's just a dream. Let me tell you something, guys. Every day that goes by that you don't work hard towards your dream is a wasted day. Every hour that you wake up every day and you're not putting the effort into seeing your ultimate goal and to get into residency is a wasted hour. So do me a favor, get on board. Let this be the only thing that matters to you in 2021. I want you guys to crush step 1, step 2, sequence, step 3, and get into residency. I've seen it done. Okay? Everybody's different. Everybody studies at their own pace. There's some people that get it done in 6 months. I know people that get it done in 12 months, 9 months, 15 months, 2 years. But the longer you do it, I don't like that. I don't want you to spend too long doing it. Because once you hop on board on the right train, we're going to get you to destination quicker. Listen, when you guys saw the story of Taylor, I remember Taylor said, I was looking for somebody to coach me. because I knew I was doing something wrong. She failed the first time because she was doing it the wrong way. You understand what I'm saying? And then when she got coaching, her mind was blown away. Imagine meeting with one of our tutors or coaches every day or once a week, even twice a week. And I mean, just look at what we covered today, guys. We covered arsenic. And I know a lot of you guys picked C, and I was super excited because a lot of people know the answers. But did you realize how much you don't know, despite the fact you knew the answer to arsenic? Did you realize how much concept I just covered because I forced you out of your comfort zone? Because I don't want you to memorize the facts. Anybody can do that. If you memorize for the USMLE, you are not going to pass. It's not a memorization exam. You see the word associate is used a lot in medicine, right? You see how, like, when we talk about arsenic, and if some of you guys missed the case, this is actually recorded. It's going to go live on YouTube tonight. Okay. For the people in our SmartMD WhatsApp group, they get direct link to the Zoom call. So unfortunately, but for you guys, you notice like there's a lot of associations, right? Arsenic is associated with what? Hepatic angiosarcoma. Arsenic is associated with squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. Arsenic is associated with chemical trigger bronchitis. Arsenic, you see those associations? They love them. They love them on the USMLE. They're obsessed with them. They're not saying it's causing it, it's just associated with it. So the fact that you get exposed to something puts you at risk. It's a risk factor to put you at risk of developing this disease. Does that make sense? So as a student of the game, when you guys are playing this game, it's like a chess match, right? When you guys are actually studying, don't forget the associations. Don't forget the risk factors. You guys know the risk factors for myocardial infarction, right? Family history of hypercholesterolemia, history of coronary artery disease, hyperlipidemia, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, metabolic syndrome, right? Those are risk factors. Are they important? Hell yeah, they're important. Because if you don't remember the risk factors in the real world, when you guys are treating patients, when the patients come in and say, my dad has a family history of Marfan, we have a family history of Marfan syndrome. And kid comes in with chest pain, is skinny, right? And you forget that Marfan syndrome can, they can rip up the aorta and develop a aortic dissection. And they come with chest pain and you say, it's probably costochondritis. Your patient's gonna walk home and die. I had a patient that had Marfan syndrome in my ER a year ago. I've seen a few Marfan patients. As soon as the guy walked in, I'm like, something's wrong with this kid. He got into a car accident. He had a whiplash injury like this. And he said, my neck hurts. He's on Coumadin, he's on warfarin. And he said, it's just a little sore. I did not take it lightly because I knew I had a connective tissue disease. I did a CT angiogram. I see that this CT soft tissue neck with IV contrast. He had a hematoma in the back of his neck, in between his spinal cord. Yes. Do you know why I did that CT scan? Because he told me he had Marfan syndrome. Because I knew with that kind of connective tissue disease, his risk of injury is way, way much higher. I did a CAT scan of his head, neck, CT, head, neck, chest, abdomen, and pelvis because I was worried he might have an aortic dissection just from sheer trauma. But if it was you who was a healthy person and you came into the ER and you said, I hit the back of my head and I got into a car accident, you know what I'm going to do? Maybe an x-ray and send you home because it's going to be just a whiplash injury to your ligaments and your muscles and you're going to be sore. And I'm going to give you, a muscle relaxant, right? But because the guy had Marfan's disease, I took him more seriously. I did more advanced imaging. I had to put him a C-collar and fly him out to a trauma center because he needed surgery. He was bleeding, right? Anterior to his spinal cord. Because if I had not picked that up, that hematoma would compress his spinal cord, you get spinal cord injury, and then you become paraplegic. When I walked in, he had pectus excavacum, like he had to be like a big hole in his chest. I'm like, wow, this is pectus excavacum. We got a patient that has Marfan's disease. This is why I'm training you for the future. You know what's interesting, guys? When I finished my training in emergency medicine, I remember my first day on the job. I walked in and I introduced myself. My name is Dr. Adesina. I'll be your doctor today. And for 3 years of my residency, I've always gone to see a patient, go to an attendant, and I'll present the case to them. And then somehow the attendee knows all the answers, right? Even if I have no idea what's going on, my attendees knew the answers. But there came one day, I'll never forget, August the 5th, 2015, I finished my I finished my first day as an attendant. And I walk into the room, and I remember my colleague said, "Hey, Adesina, you're the new resident I just graduated. We have a patient in room 15 that's coding. Go take care of that patient. This is good practice." I said, that's when reality dawned on me. The patient had no pulse when I walked in. And my heart went up, like I became a little tachycardic. I was sweaty. But then I said, Lakey, calm down. You've been trained for this moment. All your studying for all these years has trained you for this one moment where now it's you between death and the patient. And then I had to remember my ACLS protocol. Started, continue chest compression, intubated the patient, put a central line, continue to shock the patient, epi, shock, amiodarone, and then we put the patient on Levofed, right? Norepinephrine. All that training is what I learned in my residency. But for the first 5 minutes, it finally dawned on me that I did not have any backup. It was just me. I quickly realized there was no attending for me to go and ask any questions anymore. You are going to be in my shoe when you're done with this process. You, right now, might think, oh, I'm only reading for step 1. I'm only studying for step 2 CK. I promise you, in 3 or 5 years, you're going to be the decision maker. And guess what the question the nurse is going to ask you? Doctor, what are you going to do? I love my nurses. They're the best. But when they come up to you, they be like, Doc, what you going to do? And guess what? You cannot tell your nurses, I don't know. You never say that word. You will never use the word I don't know ever in your life when you're working in the hospital or working in the clinic. You figure it out. That's what I'm training you for that moment. So invest in this course now before that day shows up and you're like, damn it, I don't remember. I forgot. Excuse me, what did you say? When you show up for work, when you show up in the ER, when you show up in the ICU, when you show up as a cardiologist, a gastroenterologist, and your patient comes with a chief complaint, you figure it out. And there will be no one to back you up. There will be nobody to call. It's you versus the patient. What are you going to do? This is the reality, guys. This is why I do this. This is the ultimate reason why I'm so passionate. I want you to be a good doctor. You don't have to be the best of the best, but I don't want you to be the scrum of the scrum. When they're talking about good doctors, your name should better be mentioned when you're done with my program and when you get into residency. Because you know what? You can't hide in medicine. You can't. There's nowhere to hide, guys. You walk in, it's your brain, this little hand, your piece of paper and your pen and your brain. That's all you've got. When you walk into the hospital, there's no UWorld Qbank coming to save you. There's no SmashUSMLE QBank coming to save you. Your patients don't come up with chief complaint in front of their head, tattooed, that says 45-year-old female, history of hyperlipidemia, coming with chest pain, abdomen. They don't come in, and they don't come with A, B, C, D, and E. They come in and they say, Doc, I got belly pain. I don't feel good. I'm nauseous. I'm vomiting. I have a headache. That's how your patients are going to present. And your job is to synthesize what they're saying and convert it into a case, a clinical case, extract the data clinically and solve the problem and come up with a differential diagnosis and management and treatment. I've been an attending for 5 years. It's been the most amazing journey ever. And every day I'm still learning. I'm still learning something new, despite all my training. So I'm imploring you, enroll in the program. Join the best of the best. If you haven't signed up right now, sign up right now. Okay? I'm going to put the link again for some of you guys who don't have the link. Sign up for the program. Join the course. You already, listen, if you've already invested $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, you know, In the Caribbean schools, the average student loan is $300,000. And then you fail the exam, right? And they don't give you any refunds. Do you guys know that? Imagine you invested $200,000 in your education in the Caribbean island, right? You fail your NBME, they tell you can't move forward. Number one, you don't get your money back, and you don't get an MD degree. And you got to be kidding me. Who does that? No refunds. These schools don't give you any refunds. Zero. And I tell students, invest only $1,000 and change your life. And you're like, oh my God, it's so expensive. What are you talking about? Somebody just collected $200,000 from your pocket. They didn't teach you squat, or maybe they taught you and you didn't learn it the right way. And yet you're still like, I'm not sure if this is right for me. And I said, you're not getting your MD degree from them. You're not getting any refund. Zero. They don't give you your money back. You're stuck in the system, right? And I'm like, here's my hand. I got your back. I got your back. Let me have you overcome this hurdle, because this investment will transform you from the average person to a physician. But that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. I spent a decade to do the work for you so your life can be easier, right? I wish somebody did that for me. I even give you a coach, which most programs will not do that. How many of you buy Boards and Beyond and you can call Dr. Ryan? How many of you? Zero. Show me. Right? How many of you can reach out to the guy who owns UWorld and say, listen, I don't understand the explanation of your QBank. Can somebody explain it to me? Zero. Nothing. That's the problem. When I am just going straight into the UWorld Qbank, right? And they're like, you are reading the explanation yourself, and you are trying to understand the explanation yourself. But you can only understand something you already have in the back of your mind, right? Because I have seen students come up to me, they say, Dr. Adesina, I've done UWorld 3 times and I failed step 1 3 times. And I say, don't you think there's something wrong with this picture? How can you go through a UWorld Qbank? But UWorld has one of the best QBanks. SmashUSMLE has one of the best QBanks. But you misused it. If I give you a BMW, right? If I give you a BMW and you don't know how to ride the car, you're going to wreck it. And it's a nice car, by the way. BMWs are nice, right? Let's say it's like a 7 Series or 5 Series, or, or Mercedes-Benz AMG. And you ruin the car, right? That's what sometimes students do it. And I said, come here. Let me show you what you're doing wrong. You lack content deficit, but you're trying to convince yourself that you don't, right? So I keep telling you, this course has solved all that problem. I get to go to work every day and use my brain and my hands, and they pay me a lot of money. Let's talk about money for a second. How many of you know, type in the chat, how many of you know how much internal medicine doctor makes in America? Let's just take internal medicine. Put in the chat how much you think you're going to make as an internal medicine doctor. If you're on Instagram right now, put how much you think they pay an internal medicine doctor. 3 years out of residency, no fellowship, not a cardiologist. Just put in the chat. Okay? Put in the chat. Somebody said 150K, Bavin. Anyone else? 120. Anybody else? Anyone else? Just take a guess. It doesn't matter. Right? Let me see what we got on Instagram. 800. Who else? KKK said 200 to 300. 300. Jen said 300. $220,000. $220,000. Do you know how much a cardiologist makes? They're making 450. 450 grand. Orthopedics, the starting salary for an orthopedic surgeon is $550,000. Starting salary. Starting. Emergency medicine doctors, they can make between 380 to 600 grand a year. And I'm like, you're going to invest maybe $200,000 if you go to a Caribbean island, or 300, so that somebody can pay $250,000 to $500,000 for the rest of your life. Do you know what you can do with even 200 grand. Like somebody gives you a paycheck of $20,000 or $20,000 a month. A paycheck, $20,000 a month. Your kids are going to be able to go to good schools. Your family's set. Because we don't talk about the money. I like to talk about the money because, listen, this is not a free job. Somebody's going to pay you to do this for a living for the rest of your life. Because your brain is going to use to save somebody's life, right? Literally, you are going to be making an equivalent of $3 million over your lifetime. $3 million. If you work in America, $3 million over the next 30 years. What are you going to do to get there? It took me 15 years to get there. Or 12 plus. Yeah, 12 years. It was worth it. When I finished medical school, I owed $300,000 US dollars. Yeah, that was my student loan burden. But that was nothing. Because they're going to pay you so much money to be able to pay it back. Right? I used to work for $5, actually $6 an hour. When I was in college, $6 an hour. $6 an hour. That's what they used to pay me. Because my knowledge, I didn't have any much value to provide to society. The only thing that's changed between me from college to now is I invested in my mind, and I'm no longer just out there looking, now I'm Dr. Adesina, right? And that doctor carries so much weight, and somebody pays me for the knowledge I gained. That's what you're paying for. That's what you're investing in. That's what your investment is, guys. Change the way you see things and realize if I invest right now, I've got for the rest of my life, I'm set. Some of you guys are IMGs that don't even have any debt at all. Because you went to school maybe in Nigeria or Ghana, or you went to school elsewhere. So you didn't have a lot of debt. Which means when you finish residency, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? You're going to be rolling in dough. Literally, free cash flow. Most American doctors are broke because they have so much debt to pay back. By the time they have children, they have kids, they buy a house. So if you're an IMG that went to school in Poland or some school that was cheap and it wasn't expensive and you didn't have to take out a lot of loans, you've made it. You're set for life. So what's holding you back? Why won't you join the program? Why won't you invest? You will want to be part of our community. You will want to be part of this community. You're going to look back and say, man, thank you, Dr. Adesina, you saved my life. But no, it's you to save yourself. Okay? I'm going to put my email here in the chat. Okay? That shout out to Med School Life. They've been hosting us live on Instagram. I really appreciate it. Okay? We've got a lot of people putting a lot of comments. All right? If you guys haven't joined the program, I'm going to put a link. Med School Live guys, can you put a link for them? Like the training link, SmashUSMLE.com/free training, please. Let them click that link and join the course. Okay? For you guys, if you're still on the Zoom call, thank you so much for being with me today. Man, it's been a heck of a day, right? If you feel like you guys learned something, say yes in the chat. I just want to know if you feel like this was helpful. Was this worth your time? Me going through all the stuff we covered today. I want to see yes in the chat. Okay? If you want me to do something like this again, put a yes in the chat. All right? Because I want to know if it's worth it. Maybe it's not. But what you just learned today, gold. Absolute gold. Golden nuggets. We're dropping it like it's hot. Okay? So if you guys, here's the thing. I'm gonna let's see here. So Robert, one of our team members just nominated you. You are getting a free book. Send me an email, draudition@ftplectures.com. And then we have one more person who's going to win tonight. It's a little raffle they're doing in the back here. And I just got a notification that they've picked someone else. Gustavo, you are our second winner. Okay? You have won a free audiobook. Okay? It's 10 hours on Audible. Okay? You're going to get it for free. Okay? We have one more person on Instagram we're going to be giving away the book to. Okay? Let's see what we got here. Okay. So we're going to be giving away one free audiobook. All right? All right? Let's see here. Abraham, Augustus, you are getting a free book. Listen, send a direct message to Med School Life, or just actually my handle is at you can see my handle at SmashUSMLE Reviews, SmashUSMLE. Just send me a message on Instagram. We're gonna send you a link and a free the promotion code. You just put in the link and you get the book. The book is 10 hours. You get the whole book for free. Okay, Gustavo, congratulations. Abraham, congratulations. And Robert, congratulations. Make sure you guys email me. I put my email in there. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. It has been amazing. I am so pumped that we covered so much. Listen, believe in yourself and you're halfway there. Keep working every day like your life depends on it. Do this for your family, your children, for your parents, for yourself. Prove the doubters wrong. Show people that you are better than this. Show them that you can do anything. Put your mind to it. Stop getting distracted with social media. Get off Instagram if you don't have to be there. All right? Listen, there's time where you're going to have time for this stuff. Do what you have to do today so you can do what you want to do tomorrow. That is how successful people become successful. If you want to be part of the 1% and conquer the world and be at the top of your game in life, you're going to sacrifice something in the short term, your time, your energy. Listen, but when you're done, the world will envy you. They'll be jealous of you. They won't understand what you have done because the hard work is inside your house, inside the library, when the doors are closed. But the whole world will celebrate you when you go out there and you show them what you're made out of. When you prove to them that you're smart, you're intelligent, you are the brains behind, curing diseases and healing the sick and helping people get better. People are waiting for you. The world is waiting for you to finish this process because they're not going to do it. They're waiting for you to do it. You're the chosen one. Girl, you're the chosen one. Guy, you're the chosen one. You were born to be a physician. You were born to be a doctor. You were meant for this moment in time in history. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to say no and back off? Or are you going to quit? Quitters don't win. Winners don't lose. You are not a loser. When you fall down, you get back up again. When you're tired, you take a break, you take a rest, you turbocharge your brain, and you get back at it. That's how winning is done. You don't settle for mediocrity. Listen, I've worked as a waiter in America. I've worked like this Jewish guy used to curse me out. I used to go hide in the bathrooms because my job was to pour water and feed people during weddings. I've worked at a UPS, my job is to work at a bookstore, carry UPS boxes all day long, 50, 60 pounds. My back is hurting me by the end of the day. I did that for 2 years. My job was to mop the floor. I used to mop the floor at Rutgers University for a bookstore. I did that for 2 years. They looked at me like I used to wear my brother's clothes to work, and they used to mock me and laugh at me and say, look at you. You can't even afford good clothes. You're wearing your brother's clothes. I used to go to the dollar store and spend 99 cents to buy white t-shirts in East Orange in New Jersey because that's the only thing I can afford. I used to take the bus in the middle of winter, summer, winter. I didn't have a car. Standing in the snow at 11 at night after leaving the library. But I knew it was temporary. One time I went to the bank and I deposited my check and it was $50. I worked 10 hours for $5.15 in college. They gave me $50. When I dropped my check, the teller laughed at me. He said, son, you must be a college student. You only made $50 in 2 weeks. I felt embarrassed. But I told her, don't worry. I know my tomorrow is going to be better. Watch me do this. I might be broke today. I might not have any money, but I'm going to work on my mind. I'm going to invest in my future. I'm going to invest in my life. I'm not going to be the same guy. What are you going to do? Are you going to listen to people who, listen, I was in Newark for almost 10 years. And guess what? Everybody was doing crack cocaine, prostitutes on the streets, gangbangers. But I would wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. One time I was studying in the middle of the night. They were shooting in my neighborhood and it was 2 a.m. I had to duck in my house because they were shooting outside so I don't get shot. Duck down in the carpet while I was studying for Biology 101 in college. You think that was going to stop me? You know what I said? Don't worry, guys. I'm going to be a trauma ER physician when I'm done so I can take care of you when you get shot. And guess what? That's what I'm doing today. That was 15 years ago. I'm telling you my story so you understand, like, you are going to go through pain and tribulation. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to spoon feed and give it to you, but you have to commit to the process. You're going to tell yourself, I am not giving up. That's just the road. I was told I will never pass the USMLE. I got a 21 on my MCAT. For you guys who don't know what the MCAT is, the MCAT is the medical college admission test. I got a 21. I scored a 4 out of 15 on verbal. I was told by the medical school admissions director, the dean of admissions of a medical school, told me to my face, son, you will never pass the USMLE. My own medical school, my college advisor told me I would never make it to medical school because no one has gone to medical school in my college in 5 years. You think I listened to them? I kept knocking on the doors. I kept looking for mentorship. I kept looking for coaches. I'm looking for help. Today, look, I'm a world-renowned author, created a whole company. I created a company out of it from the people that told me I couldn't do something. So what are you going to do? What is that next program, that next book you're going to write when you become a physician? I'm waiting and counting on you guys. Don't let me down. You guys are amazing. You're smart, you're intelligent, you're God's special creatures. You're meant to save humanity. Make your life count. Till I see you guys next time, you guys have my email address. Shoot me a message, send me a message on Instagram, on my WhatsApp group. Reach out to me, on our website. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. I'll see you guys next time. If you want to sign up for the program, click the link right now, join the program, enroll. I want to see you in the course. We get started working with you, and we're going to change your life forever. God bless you guys. Till I see y'all, take care, guys, on YouTube. Take care, guys, on Zoom. Take it easy on Instagram. God bless you all. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.